What's going on, everybody? Good
Hey!
evening,
What's
afternoon,
up?
and I guess possibly morning to some of you, depending on where you're coming in from. Welcome to Neon
No, I'm
Lights
not cool
Roleplay.
with the gaming show.
Oh man, I can't even say this anymore. Welcome to Neon Lights Roleplay, where we play tabletop role-playing games, hang out, and have a great time. And today, I am glad to welcome you guys to the inaugural session of our second official campaign, Seven Sons. I have gathered in front of me a collection of perhaps the most amazing players I have ever seen.
He has
And
not seen many players.
I haven't seen a whole lot of players, but out of the ones I have seen, you guys are pretty fucking great. So I'm gonna start off with some intros to them. Let my players plug anything that they're in / what they're doing, and how, and then I'll talk about their characters. Seven Sons will be a campaign wherein our players are exploring the deserts of Zor'aa, a setting that I wrote myself. It's not published yet because I'm lazy, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So we'll start off going in overlay order. I actually forgot who's in overlay order. I'm pretty sure Tate's first.
Oh, you fool. It's
I
Tate.
believe I am first.
Okay, cool. Okay,
We're
I got it. I got it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So
Oh,
I got you.
you're so
No,
organized.
we're good. We're good. Here we go. I
So
got you.
organized.
So,
All right. Very
so
professional. streamers.
introducing, making his player debut, although he's been
Hey.
here before, on the Neon Lights channel. I'd like everyone to give a very, very warm and very, very welcome hype in the chat for our dearest, dear friend, Tate.
Hey, chat. How's it going? Yeah, I'm Tate Washburn. I mostly just do this channel. I mean, you can follow me on Twitter if you want, but nobody cares about that. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, and I'm playing Wolf, the Shifter Barbarian. I want him to have the strongest werewolf boyfriend energy possible. It's the best summary I can have of him. Very himbo, very friendly.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about Tate? About Wolf, Tate?
About Wolf. Yeah, so Wolf is a barbarian hunter type of this person who came from a small village. He doesn't talk a lot about why or how, but his main sort of goal in life is a prophecy that no one can read. He's trying to get translated so he can understand it, and he just knows that he at some point needs to fulfill it, and it's not gone so well so far. He's not a smart boy, and he mostly just goes to other scholars and shows them like the text and says, "Hey, could you read this?" Werewolf boyfriend energy possible.
You know, I too
What
have
this
things in my
day?
life that I want to be, that people want me to be, that I don't know how to do. All I know is that I have to do them, and I'm currently failing to do so. You know, so I'm aware of how that works. So that happens, you know.
Yeah, so Wolf.
All right, keeping the train moving. You've already
Ali
seen
saying,
her.
"I hope Wolf lives." Sorry.
Yeah, that's
We'll
fair.
see about that.
Keeping the train moving. You've already seen her as a player in our Neon Night City Lights session, but now she'll be heading off into the deserts of Zor'aa for a much different setting. Everyone, give a lovely welcome to Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm playing Mitstone Quaddle. You can call them Mitts. And yes, it is in fact they them pronouns. So we hope that y'all will respect that today. Mitstone Quaddle is a they them.
Always, and here on Neon Lights, we always respect pronouns, or you get punched in the face. That's the rule. So
Wolf will do the punching. He's good at it.
yeah, that's specifically how we go about those things. All right.
Mitz is not so good at punching, unfortunately. Mitz is a wizard of the Order of Scribes, so a little bit squishy.
You have friends to punch for you. Clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I need to get myself
All right.
on a javelin.
Keeping the train rolling as we have places to be and a time to get there. Let's move it on to our next player, making his complete debut. I mean, player debut, GM debut. This guy's brand new to the channel. He's a personal friend of mine who I'm very, very, very happy to have along with us, and is technically the impetus and the reason this campaign even happened in the first place. Everyone, please give a huge Neon Lights welcome and introduction to my dear friend Lucian.
You thank me now. You may not thank me later. Hi, I'm Lucian. Yeah, this is my first time in a campaign with the crew, so it'll be fun. My name is Ublissa on Twitch. That's me in the chat. But yeah, I'm playing as Ploy in this campaign, who is a lizard folk ranger with a beast companion. It's a giant lizard named Net.
Well,
throw a
welcome,
lot of
Troy
javelins.
and Met. We are very, very happy to have you both here, and we hope to see plenty of javelins thrown to harrow your enemies. Speaking of brand new players to the Neon Lights community, our next player is completely new. They are also a personal friend of mine, one I've met recently, but I consider already a very, very, very close and personal friend, someone who I respect, have so much love and attention and care for. Everyone, please give all of your energy, hype, respect, and attention to our darling Sir Heck.
Hello, guys.
So-
It's me, Sir Heckalot. I usually start my intro with "you know," but you guys don't know me yet. But hopefully, you will pretty soon. What's up? I will be playing Zenari, or she goes by Z to her friends. She is a Kalashtar Bard, College of Spirits, and yeah, she is looking for more information as a researcher for a civilization that is not well known and is not depicted super well in history, but she has a feeling that there's maybe something behind the pages of history books that isn't really being told. So that's kind of her MO. That's what she's looking for, and always there to tell a story. So yeah, let's jump into it. I'm hyped.
I'm so glad you. Honestly, Heck, I have been since I met you. I've been like, I cannot wait to get her in a campaign. So this is like so many dreams coming true for me all at one time.
Oh, man, I'm happy to be here. It's great.
And of course, last but everything but the least, you know him and love him as Dr.
Why?
Huckabee in the Neon Night City Lights campaign. But here, once again, along with our new friends, he will be entering the deserts of Zor'aa to explore things in a bit of a different universe. Everyone welcome and give some love to Land the Dan.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hey guys.
A
I'm
nice
Dan.
dude. And
I exist. I tweet badly sometimes. I play Mako Sky. Once a proud son of a family of thieves. Cursed to wander the earth, mysteriously bound to a suit of armor, searching for a way to break his curse.
And hopefully, with all the lovely and amazing secrets hidden within Zor'aa, you will hopefully find some time to explore new things and maybe find more about yourselves in the process. Speaking of which, this is probably a great time to talk a little bit about the campaign we are in and the things that our players will be getting into. So, our players are members of. I know, I like how that worked, right? So, our players are members of the Black Diamond Tomb Delvers Guild, which is exactly what it sounds like. They are a guild of heroes, adventurers, explorers, vagabonds, and other miscreants whose sole goal is to explore the various tombs and crypts and sanctuaries and temples hidden all across the world, not just in Zor'aa. They are a part of a collective of multiple different explorers guilds that work all throughout the different parts of the world. But they are particularly not very well endowed with luck or fortune. They've kind of been struggling to make ends meet these days. When recently, their sort of contractor, dragonborn by the name of Raza Brightburn, sent them a missive, and if you guys want, I could happily quickly read that missive to our chat, just so they have a sense of what we're getting into. My dearest adventurers, how long it's been since we've been in touch. Were it not for our incredibly stalwart bond as compatriots and our collective unification in the crippling poverty of our organization faces, I'd think you were all cutting me loose. What then? No faith in your ever loyal contractor to find you through these trying times? Not to worry. I have a job for you lot. And trust in my assertion that completion of this task could see us all up to our orifices in coin. Such a reward must certainly come with the mountainous task ahead. I'm sure you think as you read these words, and you'd be at least half correct. The quest I'm sending you on will certainly come with the kind of peril you must all be craving, but you won't exactly be heading into any mountains just yet. You'll be going through them. The Akala Mountains, to be exact, right into the lost lands of Zor'aa. Get excited, kids. Your contact is a woman named Shah Valen, a drow of all things, as uncommon as they are for that far south. Curiously enough, our benefactor was kind enough to pay for transport to Wadal, the city where you'll meet her. Find it with this note along with another missive from the contact herself explaining more of the mission. Be safe in those dunes, friends. With love, Raza Brightburn. And I will actually take the liberty of showing this to the players so you guys can see that real quick. Just a quick little missive that was sent in by their boss. And so, without in the interest of just kind of bringing you guys in sort of perfectly fine, our players, our explorers, you guys are currently situated on a massive bloat ship. Bloat ships, in the context of the Zoran world, are massive creatures, almost like whales, that using massive sacks of air they keep in their chest parts, float. They float along the skies and manage to sort of travel along currents to. And so certain people trap and tame these beasts, and then place massive saddle-like structures on their back, or I guess almost like, it's too big to call it a saddle, but I guess like a canvas-like structure, wherein sort of like hundreds or so passengers could sort of like get on and head in. So currently, you are all situated on one such craft. It might be a bit uncommon for you to have seen before in your travels, but I'm sure you've all seen plenty of strange things in the 2 or 3 years you've been adventuring together. And thus, this bloat ship has been traveling for maybe about a day or two. You've gotten some rest, been caught up with your friends, ensured all your gear's up to date and things like that. Maybe even chatted with a person or two on the bloat ship with you. And as you slowly begin to make you see it begin to slowly descend, you hear a loud chime go off in the distance, a very, very loud bell ringing. Looking off in the distance, you can see that it's one of the crewmen who is ringing a bell indicating that the bloat ship is about to land. And thus, you begin to head down into a large docking bay. Below you, you can see the sprawl of a city that sort of like sits in the middle of the sand. It's covered by very, very high walls that keep it defended on all sides, sort of a strange, almost octagonal shape. But other than that, it is a massive sort of walled city district where the people, where you can sort of see multiple different buildings. It's hard to sort of get a sense of any people or populace around here, but you can definitely see it. And I'll even move you guys over to the map of the city, so you guys can get a sense of how it looks like from an aerial view as you arrive in Wadal, also known as the City of Crowns. Crown of Daggers, actually, what I named it myself. So, you slowly approach into Wadal, and you see around you there is the docking bay, which is kind of right around here-ish, is not too far from the Emir's Hold, which you see is sort of separated by massive gates. These gates here. Around you, there are plenty of people talking and getting into business. Feel free to let me know if the sounds are too loud, by the way. There's sort of people all around you. Some busy themselves in shops, operating stands or selling wares on the street. Others flit about, carrying, provisions or equipment or whatever you can imagine they carry out in those crates. You can see small bits of work areas where it would look to be menial servants, or perhaps even slaves maybe, engage in small tasks such as carving wood or carrying stone or things like that. More specifically, you note that there is sort of a very large causeway down which you can see a very, very large distribution of shops on the left or right. Sort of everything from jewelry stores to weapon shops to magic item shops to scrolls. And these are all denoted by very, very large signs, or in some cases just a person outside of the store just screaming about what thing they have for sale. As you head down this street, travel for a bit, you come to notice one building that looks a little bit different. With large columns out in front of it and a very, very wide sign in front of it that says Ancient Curiosities. You can see a very, very large marble building with a very, very open hall, sort of courtyard beyond its gate, and then beyond that courtyard, a large building. And in this courtyard, standing kind of waiting at the gate, and you very, very much notice that as you sort of approach this person seems to be like kind of waving at you, maybe offering a bit of a hand, is a woman with sort of darker purple skin, dressed in a very, very regal blue and red gown. Her hair is sort of tied in braids and then left in a bit of an afro-like bun behind her head. And you have a pretty good sense that this is probably the person you're looking for.
Okay.
And she's kind of like, not so much like directly waving to you so as to be obvious, more just kind of like offering a bit of a slight hand. Just like, hey, over here real quick.
All right. At least Z is gonna just kind of lean right into that and just kind of walk over.
Fair enough. I'm assuming you all keep it moving with Z as stay as a group.
It's
Yeah.
gonna follow behind Z, but
Sounds
like
like a
just
good idea.
stare around and kind of just like take out her book and just scribble, like just sketch everything.
Taking notes as
I
naturally.
think this is RN.
As you approach the gate, you'll see two people kind of rush forward. They both appear to be dressed in very, very much more simplistic garb than the woman in front of you. They force open the gate and allow it wide for you guys to walk past. The moment after you guys move past that gate, they shuffle off back to the side to begin doing whatever it was they were doing, busying themselves with before you came. The woman offers a very, very flourishing bow, which causes the sort of edges of her dress to rise up a little bit as she just like gives a very, very nice bow and just says, I was hoping you'd arrive soon. You must be the adventurers I hired.
Yes, it is us.
Yep, that's us.
I think so.
Quite the ragtag-looking group, but, you know, good help is hard to find these days, and I'm sure you'll be competent. Let's skip the formalities and get right to things. My name is Shah Valen, and you all are...
Hi, I'm Ploy.
Hey, sorry, I want you to do this very specifically. We're gonna go one at a time in any order you guys want, and just very quickly describe what Shah is seeing in front of her when she sees the people she's looking at her. Just give us a very big brief, if you can, a very brief physical description of what we're seeing with these adventurers.
So hi, I'm Ploy, and Shah sees in front of her a relatively tall, like about 6.5 foot lizard man, with a shield on one arm and a bunch of javelins strapped to his back. Notices that his scales seem a bit more dusty in color than typical green or dark browns of the swamp lizard men. Besides that, there's also his big boy Net behind him, following along, carrying all his stuff. So yeah, Ploy reaches out his hand to shake her hand and says, "Hi, I'm Ploy. This is my friend Net. We travel together. Excited to be here."
All right. Anyone else want to give their physical description?
Yeah. Z kind of leading the group into it would stride pretty confidently over a Kalash Tower woman that is about like 5'6" or so, has relatively like past shoulder length long russet hair, and partially covering one of her very light blue eyes. She's just wearing pretty general adventurer's gear, mostly just basic leathers, but maybe a little bit more adapted to the desert heat and exploring in crypts and tombs and all of that. Yeah, she just has her instruments around her. One of them is the citern. I think that's how you say that. I don't know. I think that's how you say that, but it is a stringed instrument, as well as a pan flute slung over one of her harnesses.
Cool. Next.
Mako, to an outside observer, is clad head to toe in quite well-crafted leather armor, including gloves and boots. His head is covered by, or the area that would normally be his face is obscured by cloth wrapping, which he does not seem eager to remove. At his side is a hand crossbow and a hilted rapier. And over his shoulder is a sling of other provisions.
I think we got two left.
I would have a question if Mako actually introduced himself, or if that's just what he looks like. Because if he doesn't, Wolf will probably say his name. Because like, you're the stealthy one, and he's like, nah.
Mako Sky at your service.
Yeah, Wolf will like nod. Be like, my name is Wolf, and it's a pleasure to be here in this fine city. I think he's like a little distracted because they're in the middle of this like big area with a bunch of smells and things. Yeah, Wolf is also fairly tall. He's probably about as tall as Ploy is, but like Ploy being a lizard folk has like a whole lot more mass to him. But he's still big for like a humanoid. Yeah, he's got like pure white hair, which looks a little odd on him for someone so young. He's like maybe in his mid-20s. He's got sort of more tan-ish skin from just being outside a lot, and he carries like a hand axe on either side of his waist, a bunch of javelins on his back, and a shield. And he's just sort of like happy to be here, I guess. He's also quite loud, like even just introducing himself, like "Hello."
As Wolf introduces himself, Shao will kind of just like take a bit of a brief like half step back and just go, "A pleasure." And one left.
So Mitz was very much into their sketching, but it's almost as if they heard someone very loudly yell at them, because they kind of just go like, and sort of just go, right. Introductions. I'm Mitz. Short for Mitz Quaddle, just call me Mitz. It's easier for people to say. But so Mitz is kind of like a really thin, average-sized humanoid covered in scales and feathers, like really big feathers. They're brightly colored green, blue, but you can't really see most of them because they've got a big traveler's cloak covering most of their body, as well as the book that kind of seems to be floating in their hands. Just a little bit.
Shao will certainly quirk an eye at the floating book, but yeah, just kind of will not offer any commentary and direction and just say, "A pleasure to meet you all. Well, my missive certainly contained most of the information, but in the interest of time, I'll simply fill you in on the briefs. Here in the city of Waldal, I call myself a curator of, let's say, curiosities of an ancient time. Everything from tablets, relics, fragments, timepieces, stories, you name them. If they came from a society that's largely dead, I probably have a fragment of it. Here I trade it and sell it. The nobles of the city are very, very keen to engage in higher level trading using these rare pieces as opposed to hard currency. It just seems to go easier for them. And in return, I tend to get my hands on everything from information to political clout around here. It's been quite the fruitful business. However, hard and solid help can be difficult to find, especially as the dunes in Zor'aa can be unkind to travelers. In particular, I've noticed a bit more of my help losing themselves in the desert. More specifically, I sent out a travel group recently to find a place of rest for an ancient noble of this of the Sithani society. You may notice most of the people here are of the Sithani race. Shao will kind of gesture outwards, and if you guys turn around, you'll notice that like most of the people around you are Sithani. Sithani are humanoid, typically anywhere between about 4'6" to like 5'9" in height. Serpentine looking with kind of hoods like cobras. It's covered in scales in a very different shades of scale tone. You probably feel a bit more at home amongst the different sand-toned people around here. Most of them have tails and those hoods. They walk around in all kinds of different robes and jewelry and things, and so indicating that, we'll just say, well, an older Sithani noble named Shai Halani was supposedly laid to rest thousands of years ago here, along with all of his mortal wealth. Diamonds, gold, treasure, information, you name it. I sent out a party to find his tomb in a cave hidden to the mountains to the north after we found word of it, and only one of them returned, seemingly driven mad by the occasion. I'm not sure what he saw or what he experienced, but I simply haven't the time to find more helpful resources around here. Thus, I reached out to you lot. I won't bother you with too much information on things unless you find it pertinent to know for your mission, but I'd like you to venture out, find this tomb as well as the fate of my previous party if you could. Any treasure you find and can bring back to me, I will pay you handsomely for, as well as our previously arranged adventurer's fee, and you can go on about your business. I wouldn't want you guys to hang around in Zor'aa too long. This can be a strange place for outsiders. Are there any questions?
For certain, you have nothing to worry about. We've been in the game for quite a while. However, I do have one question. The adventurer that came back he's still, or are they still around, or?
They are not from the city. They are from Al-Sal to the southeast. I sent them back home to get some time with their family to recover. It's the least I could do for their troubles.
Fair enough. Very fair enough.
Do you happen to remember what they ranted on about? A good hunt involves investigation first, you may understand.
I appreciate your enthusiasm for the hunt, as it were. She'll even quirk an eyebrow off like a small chuckle at the word hunt. Most of it was gibberish, I apologize, so I wasn't able to piece together most of it. The Shithani tongue is still kind of new to me. but from what I could gather, he mentioned screaming, voices, feeling unwelcome. I wasn't sure, but it's not uncommon for people to find esoteric things out there in the sands. But for a man to be driven mad like that, I can't imagine what he encountered.
Mitz kind of eagerly just like leans in and goes, wait. You said thousands of years old? Do we know anything about the Sithari from thousands of years ago?
Yes. You see, and kind of like as like picking up on Mrs. Enthusiasm's shot, kind of like gets closer a bit, kind of like leans in a bit, like equally enthused about talking about dead people from thousands of years ago, I guess. Just yes. You see, before the advent of the modern temple cities you see all around us and throughout Zor'aa, the Zidani were how do you put it? Necrophilic intrinsic society. They worshipped the idea of death. Thus, nobles, merchantmen, generals, worthy soldiers, anyone who earned a name for themselves was entombed somewhere off in the sands, given all their mortal wealth, and in cases, even those who served them in life, sacrificed and put in that tomb with them. It's not uncommon for, if you're looking around and far enough, to find a tomb of a minor noble somewhere with some gems, or maybe perhaps a bit of gold, or even, some other possessions lying around in there. But to find a tomb of this size, with the kind of wealth I'm looking after, it's such a rare sight indeed.
I think Wolf also like leaned in to listen. He doesn't understand half of the words in that, but he's like, "This is fascinating, huh?
Exciting."
He just wants to be involved.
She'll kind of just like quickly work an elbow to say, I should mention, by the way, as you are currently in the Crown of Daggers, you are welcome to look around the city for anything from provisions, magic items, potions, or even a guide to help you through the sand. In fact, I'd recommend that latter one more than anything else. Do be careful not to dally. This city is not kind to the unwary.
That's not sinister at all.
It's like, well, guess I can't just sit around sketching all day.
Does this city have any food specialties? Anything sweet?
If you're looking for sweets, there's a shop I can direct you to, actually, specifically. She kind of like begins to take a bit of paper out of her pocket and write down sketch a bit of like a street diagram, and it says, follow the main concourse 2 blocks down, and then take a left and head down a few stores. You'll notice a small little shack to the corner with a large pink sign outside of it. It's a sweet shop I visit in my own spare time. The dwarf who owns it is let's say, an old friend. And in fact, if you keep going down that street a bit further, I notice the background is still a bit loud. I'm going to work on fixing that. I'm sorry. You know what? We'll switch over to the small crowd sound.
Hey.
As opposed to medium crowd.
Hey.
See how that works? In worst case scenario, we'll just get rid of the sound as needed. It's fine. Anywho, and if you head down the street a bit from if you head down the street a bit from that place, you'll notice that you'll probably find a place to find either a guide or someone to help you at least send you off on your way.
What do you recommend getting from that sweet shop?
There's a particular kind of sugar roll you can grab that it's just so to die for.
That sounds amazing. I'll be sure to stop by there.
Very well then. If there's nothing else, do be careful in Wadal and in the sands of Zor'aa yourselves, and I look forward to hearing from you.
This tomb that you're asking us to, if this tomb that you're asking us to explore and the wealth hoard that you're asking us to collect, were there any items in particular that were rumored or known to be there that would be that are of particular interest?
Alani was a trader in his lifetime, and thus thus took his vast fortunes to his grave. I don't have any information on anything particularly esoteric or worthy of note, but outside of the vast wealth, I can't name anything.
Was what sorts of items was he known for trading?
I believe he dealt in minor magic items and also occasionally in relics, believe it or not. A man after my own heart.
Any particular persuasion of minor magic items?
History is not recalled.
Let's see. This Mako, although having although he had perked up at the notion of magic items, appears somewhat disappointed and resumes his stoic demeanor.
Very well then.
When he wants to be stoic, he's extremely stoic, considering no one can see any expression on his face.
He doesn't have a face, technically speaking. So
Stoic, or is he just sleeping?
Yeah,
The world
I
will
mean,
never
you
know.
sat,
world may never know.
if you sat still enough, I bet you could convince someone you're just a stand of armor.
If
Yeah.
you just strike a pose.
Rest, baby.
The King of the Mannequin challenge.
Remember his
Alright.
backstory, right? He did that for like a few hundred
The
years.
fake. The
All right,
fake
so at this point, having opened you guys up to look at the map of Wadal, it's sort of split off into these 4 sort of quarters of the city. At this point, I just want to generally ask you guys, as you guys don't really know any like the city at all or what's around, is there anything particularly you guys want to look for as you're traveling, or do you want to like head right out? Do you want to go find something in particular?
If we're crossing the desert, we'll, as our patron has suggested, we'll likely want a map and a means of transport.
Yeah, so a guide sounds nice. I also want to add as
Also,
a plug
guys.
that definitely going to that sweet shop. I don't know if anybody else is interested, but
Wolf is interested in the food, but he almost like was scoffing as you asked her for directions. Like, no, you follow your nose. You don't go someplace they tell you. Mm-mm.
alright, well, let's
Man, never ask directions.
let's go find.
Well,
some
not about
food together.
food. Not about food. Wolf's like, no, you gotta just smell the best thing and follow that. That is his goal. He will follow you though to be like, because you have asked directions, and he does want to like try out food. The practical part of him is like, oh, we need to get some health potions and stuff because it's just helpful to have. The rest of him is like, but food though.
It was mentioned that there was an old friend at that shop too. They might be able to point us in the right direction to things.
Speaking of potions, though, if potions are in the opposite direction, if somebody else wants to take some of my money and buy some potions for me, because I'm not that interested in going anywhere besides the sweet shop.
I'll handle that. After a few hundred years of not having a tongue, the prospect of local delicacies, the appeal wears thin.
Wow,
Wolf is
It's
very
kinda-
sad.
more for me, I guess.
But food.
It's with the health potion.
Are we set in our plan?
I think so.
How much money does Floyo?
Yeah, so
Lloyd,
Ploy's gonna
you-
hand over about, let's say, 150 gold. So yeah, here's some gold. Buy some potions with that. For me, I'm gonna go the other way though. Follow me.
I think Wolf would add 100 to that and be like, yes, potions are good for everybody. So like, I will contribute. This sounds good.
All right, so we're handing Mako or Mako. Is it Mako or Mako?
Mako.
So we're handing Mako 250 gold for potion buying. And else adding into that fund,
And
or
another 50 gold for that.
300 gold for potion buying from the make man.
Also going to hand over 100 gold.
400 gold then for the buying of the potions for
And
Mako.
over 100 over my starting gold.
All right, well, all right, cool. So
So,
Which is like
Mako,
an
before you go off on
arbitrage
your own, anybody else want to go with him? Just because that is a lot of gold.
Mm.
It
Not
is.
one person.
I think actually saying that, Wolf's like, and hands you Ploy like 10 gold and be like, just bring me something back. Don't eat all of it.
look at Wolf being responsible.
All
right.
I
make
know.
no promises, but I will do my best.
All right, so
Rest
But even
assured,
that,
if there's one
do we
thing
have-
Mako's guy knows how to do, it's hold on to some gold.
all right,
Wolf
so we
is more
have the
worried
plan.
about someone trying to take it from you.
So we have the plan. So who's heading to the sweet shop? Who's heading to go buy potions?
Sweet shop.
Potion.
Shop. Oh, should we do like ones and twos? Like, okay, like ones, like put up like a one
Yeah.
if you're going to the
One if you're going to
potion.
the sweet shop. Two if you're going to get potions.
One.
Just see some. Just show me some fingers.
Interesting
Okay,
choice.
cool, got it. All right. So you split off. Mitz and Ploy and Z, you guys begin to walk off, chatting idly about whatever it is you feel like doing as you head in the as you follow the diagram drawn off by Shah to head off to the potion shop. The street you turn down, you notice, is a little bit small, much smaller than the main concourse. Seems to be like a side street or an off street. A little bit darker during this midday period. Some more shadows are cast, and we'll come back to you guys in just a moment. As Mako, and Wolf, you guys begin to walk and make some talking, have some idle chatter about, I don't know, whatever it is that a giant walking suit of armor and a wolf boy would talk about. I would like it if just one of you, and you guys can pick who, gives me a perception check real quick.
Mine is a 4.
Mine is also a 4.
Oh, no.
Wolf is going to be perceiving anyways, simply because he is going to be smelling the city. Like, he wants to get a feel for this city, and he does have a pretty good sense of smell.
I smell rock.
As you sniff around, Wolf, the first sort of like the, obviously you're kind of like overwhelmed with like kind of like.
Wait, I thought you meant. Wait, Ted, I thought you.
There we go.
There we go.
Cool. All right. So, as you go about your sniffing and sort of like taking in the ambient sense around you, Wolf, the first thing you'll depict is towards like the general scent of people. You notice that most Sethani tend to smell like the way you think snakes tend to smell, but a bit more sort of like full, whereas like snakes tend to just smell like the environment they're in. You kind of get a sense of like these things are more around, you know, kind of like you can kind of get more sense from these people around. Other than that, you get an obvious sense of like things like food and like, you know, you get a sense of like flame going from like a blacksmith's furnace. There's a lot of that going on. You also definitely get occasionally just like the coppery tang of blood just in the background. There definitely is the occasional bit of murdering that happens around this place. It's not like obvious where it's like someone just got killed a couple minutes ago, but like just like hanging in the air. It's like, yeah, this is not a place where murder is uncommon.
It's the kind of smell that tends to linger.
Exactly. And as you're sort of taking in all these scents and traveling, as Mako is chatting you up about how it feels to live in a giant suit of armor several thousand years old and also not really be a person anymore.
I think the thing that we talk about is that he doesn't eat, and I think Wolf has only just realized that. And he's like, wait, hold on.
Wait a minute. What?
No food?
Yeah, and he's like, that. Can I make a list for you for when you get your body back?
As you're getting sort of fully immersed in this conversation, you will notice that sort of 4, I guess, person sense pretty distinctly begin to kind of come in around you. And by the time you notice them, there are sort of 3 or 4 Sethani individuals in sort of like dark garb around you. One of them is holding a dagger in his left hand and twirling it up and down. And just says to you, "You two don't seem to be from around here. That is quite the coin purse you got, though."
I would like to do a little bit of insight. It's not something I'm great at, but
What do you
just to basically how intimidatable are these people? Like, if they were suddenly to encounter something they could not predict that they would run into today, how likely are they to run away?
Go for it. Tell me that my numbers load slow. Okay, cool. So Wolf, as you begin to look around, you know, first thing you do is you take in immediate, just like, you know, battlefield conditions. Who are your opponents? Who was around you? You immediately notice like 1, 2, 3. There are 4 of them around you, surrounding you. One seems to have the knife out. Another's kind of like in his cloak, maybe like reaching for a weapon of some variety. The other two are kind of just like, you know, kind of looking menacing. You notice
Standing there menacingly.
just like looking at you menacingly, just standing there menacingly. But as you look around, you do notice that these guys they don't seem particularly well equipped. They don't seem to have any like armor or any like overt like swords or anything on them other than like the weapons they kind of are reaching for. 2, specifically the one you can see with twirling the dagger, looks maybe even almost emaciated. Just, you've never really seen a Sethani before, so you don't know how thin they're supposed to look, but you can pretty confidently say this guy maybe hasn't had the most balanced diet recently. And he looks at you in a way that sort of just says, like, you can pretty keenly tell he wants your money, not your, like, life. Like he's
Mhm.
not trying to kill
If you
you.
try to make a move, I won't think twice.
Exactly. Pretty much, yeah. He's going for the like he wants to eat to live. He's not trying to kill somebody. But you can pretty much certainly tell that like were they to encounter something a bit too out of the ordinary, they'd probably cut and run.
Wolf is generally not like he can get very violent, but he's not here to like end a bunch of muggers' lives for no reason. So he doesn't want to like I don't want to take the lead too much unless Mako is fine letting Wolf do so. But I think his first interaction is actually to try and like act like a friend and put himself closer to danger, if only so Mako, the probably slightly less durable one of the two, doesn't get stabbed. And so I think it'd be like, locals, actually this is perfect. I was looking to get quite a lot of food, I think is the first instinct he has. And like see if he can disarm them that way almost.
Yeah, don't bother rolling yet. But as you say this, he'll kind of again he'll catch the knife and like point it sort of towards the coin purse Mako is carrying and just say, well, the purse like that, like a king around here, I guess.
Well, it's not all ours. We can't just spend all of it. But no, I would love your help getting someplace where you can buy quite a lot feast generally. And I'd imagine that you, as locals, know better than I.
Yeah, I'd say we know a bit more about where to find things than you are. In fact, rule number 1 around here tends to be if you can find something, the best way to get it is typically to take it from somebody else. So how about you both come out of those coins, walk away, and I'll open your guts up to the street.
So Wolf is going to have been walking towards him, and he is ready for this man to attempt to stab him, but he's going to try and, I guess, not be obvious with that, especially because he's not going for any weapons. He's just going to very confidently stride towards him, and if he can, even put a hand on this guy's shoulder if he lets him get that close and be like, I don't know if you want to do that, my friend.
Give me some sort of persuasion-based thing. Could be intimidation if you want. Could be persuasion. Could be some other variety of thing.
Yeah.
Intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
These all sound
Hold
like
on.
charisma rolls.
Do I give you advantage?
A big wolf man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take advantage. Why not?
For some reason, I feel like that my transferring my skill sheet over to here hasn't quite done it right. But let's just do this.
I believe in you.
Let's see it.
Okay. Well, thankfully I give you advantage. Thanks for the roll. Thanks for the roll I got. So yeah. Like
This is definitely a little bit of growl sinister. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you want to do that.
So yeah, seeing this very large, kind of hairy, muscular guy start like, because Wolf is obviously a fair bit taller than this Sethani guy. So like, as Wolf begins sort of like slowly walking up, like that one JoJo's meme.
Oh, you're approaching me?
Like you can see a bit of a tremble in the knife. Eventually, as you like approach him, you do manage to get a hand on his shoulder, and then he kind of just eventually just like kind of like says like kind of like lowers the hand, and it's kind of just like, I don't know what you do with this big guy, but you're crazy, and like the kind of like they all kind of like like he'll kind of shake you off and like kind of like run off, and as he like cuts and runs, the other 3 guys will all just kind of like disappear off into the streets, almost like it never happened. In fact, you'll even notice that there are like 1 or 2 people on the street who saw that whole thing take place and just sort of didn't say anything, just for like, that's their problem, not me. And like like they were kind of like watching, waiting to see what would happen, but the moment they ran out, they kind of just went, okay, and like kept it moving.
Wolf has fought bears with his bare hands. A dude with a knife isn't gonna scare him.
I feel no fear. But you continue your stride, and you eventually arrive at a small little shack. It's almost even more of like a stand outside of a small little hut, which like might be like a supply hut. And you can see all across like the sort of like counter of this hut are like a bunch of small sort of vials of varying colored fluid liquids. And I mean, you guys have adventured enough that you are pretty sure these are probably potions of some variety. You're maybe not certain they're healing potions at first glance, but you're pretty certain.
Okay. I had a question about signage. Like, is there a lot of text on buildings or whatever to be able to see where things are, and what language is it in?
It is in a script you definitely probably wouldn't know, but there are, and it's not most huts. It seems to be the general trend of the best way to make it known that you sell something around here seems to be standing outside of a window near your shop and just screaming constantly about the thing you're selling. And so, while there is sort of like a common dialect that most people in this world tend to use, and most people screaming in that for the sake of convenience, there are some people screaming in like a very hissy, very drawn out syllabate tongue you don't seem to speak at all. And there is some signage, but similarly, the symbolism on the signage is just not exactly there
Common.
as commonly.
Yeah. So I guess in this potion shop, it's all labeled in this language, or is it all in common?
Yeah, it's all labeled in the language. But as you sort of like walk up to the stand, the older woman behind the just like covered in like an old robe kind of just approaches and says, come close, child. I have potions. You seem like the type to be off exploring the deserts now. Wouldn't want you to die out there now, would you?
It would be interesting to see someone try.
Even more interesting if you have this right here. She'll kind of like grab one of the bottles and like cork it open and like whisk it in front of your nose. As Wolf wafts in, you can definitely detect sort of like some of the like textbook herbs and like things you notice are usually used in like traditional healing potions and things like that. But there is this sort of like very pungent, almost like spice to it that like you can't really tell what it would correspond to, but you can tell like this potion is. It's the good shit. It's potent, you know? But it does seem to be like a generic healing potion. Just like looks like it's a bit more potent than a generic healing potion.
Okay.
I think maybe even you could tell me if this doesn't happen or not, but Wolf might even like sort of like quirk an eyebrow denoting this like sort of strange spice in it. And maybe like seeing that the woman just goes, not from around here. Zoran potions are particularly potent, if I'll have you know. They'll certainly keep a kick in your step. Imagine, look on your face, and then he comes close to you after a long and grueling battle. He lands a blow on you finally, only for you to sit back, chug one of these, and have the wound miraculously close in front of his eyes.
That is interesting. Wolf is not great at haggling. I don't know if...
Yeah, so just kind of like just go, interesting and affordable. 100 gold for a potion.
Yeah, Wolf is ready if Mako wants to actually do haggling.
Person good at this, please.
Mako is not an incredibly persuasive person, nor is he especially charismatic, being he generally tries to not stand out.
We did not send the right people onto this, it seems.
We also need to get information.
Yeah, so here's what we'll do. We're gonna have you guys check in on how well you guys can maybe haggle that down in a few minutes, and that'll happen off camera. While we go check in on our other friends here, who have been. So you guys follow following the side street. You notice it's a bit more quiet, but unlike our other two compatriots, there doesn't seem to be anybody who accosts you or bothers you as you make your way to the sweet shop. Entering what sort of looks like a small sort of restaurant, there are some like places for people to sit and like consume things. There's even sort of what's like maybe like a strange display case with like a sort of like half glass behind it, and there are all kinds of different confections and pastries and small sweets, fried breads and different doughs and confections, just all arranged in different kinds of things around the back, just like in a large things. And in front of them, you see again, you don't notice too many outsiders in this city, but this is another notable one. It's a dwarf, actually, a dwarf with a very, very long, patches of gray beard, who jovially just noticed you, just says, come in, I've just finished a batch.
Sweets. Yes.
You, my friend, look like a sugar roll eater, he says, pointing at Ploy.
That's me.
And so, like, almost like with like faster than you even able to notice it, he kind of like waves a hand for a bit, and that hand is now filled with a small roll. It's steaming hot roll with like these small sugars on top of it. It will just kind of place that on a plate and sort of hand it off to Ploy. Just kind of big jovial smile on his face.
I taste it. What does it taste like?
It is like, it's almost like, so the first thing you bite into is this very, very flavorful fried dough, almost covered in like the sugar confection on the outside. But once you bite into it, there is this chilling ice cream like, like cream in the middle of it that just like washes against the back of your tongue. And it's like almost like designed to do that. Like the moment you bite into it, it's just kind of like rushes into your mouth almost.
This is heavenly. How many can I buy?
As many as you'd like, friend. Here's a batch of 24 I just finished.
How much is each one?
4 gold.
Oh, 4 gold. 4 gold. You know what? You've convinced me. I'll do it.
All 24.
Give me all 24.
He'll certainly raise both of his eyes at this. Maybe almost thinking you're joking, but once he sees you put the coin on the table, he just goes, okay, and just sort of drops the plate. Are you expecting more friends to join you, or just these two?
We have a couple more friends, but these are mostly for me.
Well, you should get comfortable, friend. He'll even kind of like pour you a glass of like some sort of milk-like beverage and just says, you might want this. And sort of offers some chairs in front of him at like a bar-like thing in front of the counter and just says, Gorma Baron, nice to meet you all.
Hi, I'm Ploy, and then I turn around and I just start eating rolls.
Yeah, you will like look over. Yeah, and Ploy doing this. Like, Wolf did say to save some, please. And also, I do want to try one. That looks very good. Yeah, the name's Zanari. The confections look great, almost as sweet as the maker. We actually had a recommendation from Shop Alan to stop by here. He said you were an old friend of sorts.
You know Miss Phelan.
We do.
Well then, huh?
We're doing a little bit of business, but yeah.
Ah, doing some work for her then. Well, I'm glad she helps patronize me in the way that can help patronize her. Yeah, we try to keep things rather insular in Wadal here. People help each other out when they can, and those that don't, do what they can to get by. But that's neither here nor there. If you're working for Shah, then you must certainly be heading out into those dunes soon. Please, eat heartily.
Ploy looks up, nods, and just goes back to eating rolls.
Pardon me for being a bit
Staring
intrusive,
at all of the various confections.
Pardon me for being a bit intrusive, but have you seen have you happened to hire a guide yet?
We haven't. We actually were in the market for one, and being around here and being an old friend, I figured you probably know something.
I can do you a little bit better than that, as a matter of fact. So he kind of just like turns by and says, "You two morons, get out here and stop wasting my time!" And so out of the back comes these two young Sethani. Both of them are kind of covered in like very, very simple looking garb. You'll notice that some of the Sethani you see on the street tend to have like jewelry, whether it's like nose rings or like piercings on their hoods or all kinds of things. These two both seem devoid of any of that. Very, very simple dress. So they sort of come back and so Burma turns back and just says, These here are Jassi and Brika. They are my, let's say, assistants. I don't like the more caustic term people use for their help around here. They help me out around the shop and occasionally head out to find ingredients for me. And if anything, they know these dunes better than anybody else in this city. I normally don't hire them out because they're really helpful around the shop here, but you seem like helpful lot. If you have about, I don't know, let's say 30 or 40 coins to spare, I'm sure they could get you wherever it is you're heading. Where is it you're heading?
There were some ruins to the north that are of particular interest, apparently.
Ah, yes, Shah sent a party out there not too long ago. I heard it didn't go so well.
You heard the same thing. We're hoping to talk to the one person that survived, but he was sent home, which is fair enough.
Ah, yes. Young Tamel. He was a good lad. Earned some rest. I'm glad he's getting some. I'm sorry that I couldn't offer you any helpful information, but if you're heading up to the north, then I think I have a relatively good idea of where you're going. You two! He'll sort of go off in the back for a bit, like leave you two with them, and the two will kind of just like maybe wave a bit and sort of like kind of just like offer you a bit of a greeting. You'll notice
Wave
that
back.
they appear to be twins, actually. One man, one woman. The man one appears to be Tamil, and the woman appears to be Brika. Tamil has at his hips sheathed a hand axe and a small sort of like curved sword, and Brika has sheathed behind her back a sort of longbow with a quiver at her hip. And so the dwarf kind of heads to the back for a bit, spends some time, and then comes back with a large sort of rolled piece of paper, which he will unroll out on the counter and just says, assuming you're outsiders, this is a relative map of the area you're in, and it's actually a perfectly good time for me to bring you guys back out to the world map. So the first place he points and just says, I'm gonna assume you came in from around here to the north, which is a bit weird because you'll be heading back that way. Shahalani's Rest, the tomb I assume you're looking for, is off to the mountains. The cave they found it in is just off around here, actually. If you follow the road out of the city, which I recommend you do, where there was part of the dunes, then the best thing you could do would be to follow the road off for about 4 or 5 days out of travel out. Once you reach past Shalamea's dunes, cut hard to the north and head off into the mountains. Follow them for about another day or so. You should usually end up at a very wide-mouthed cave. That's typically where you're gonna want to head for. Be careful. The heat in the desert can be insane, and you don't all seem very equipped for survival out here. That's true. I just haven't done that yet. I'll work on it. Don't touch me. So yeah, and so Brika will kind of like look over and just say, and look at Jamil and say, oh, yes, we know how to get there. That's not that hard. If you guys give us a few days, actually, there's a trade caravan headed to Al Sal not too long from them. They have to head on that same route. We can head out with them actually to save time. Oh, sorry, did I say days? I meant hours. Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good. If she looks to the other two of the group, if this sits right with you, perhaps we could wait here and then reconvene with the other two. But I think this is a good shot here.
Having eaten at least 16 of the rolls, Floyd looks up and goes, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm okay with that. I thought I'd save the rest for you guys. They are quite good."
Mitz like finally looks up from the display case and goes, just nods a little bit.
All right, and I think right around this time would be when your two other friends will probably be arriving back from their potion shenanigans. So this is real quickly where I want either of you, Mako or Tate, to, and you know what? I'll even be lenient here. You can either roll for me like persuasion or something to like haggle this lady down for these potions, or you can just describe to me what thing you would try to do to get the price down sufficiently.
I say, for 100 gold, they should be able to restore the dead. We'll pay you 50 per potion.
All right, give me 1 second. For some reason, this woman looks at you and kind of cocks an eyebrow and then just says, well, I normally would be a bit less inclined to offer deals. Something about your face seems to, I guess, give me a good feeling. Which seems a bit weird given that you literally
His
can't
face with
see
no face?
your face.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
But
trust a man that
somehow-
hides his whole face.
somehow, some way, she decides that she will sell you exactly 4 potions at 50 each.
Very well. I will accept your terms.
All right. And then from there, this will be the point in time where you guys take the potions and then arrive back at the sweet shop with the dwarf and the 2 guides and your 3 friends who are currently going over the map.
Hey guys, I saved you guys one roll each. The other 4 having mysteriously disappeared, I hand 1 roll to each of my friends.
Wolf doesn't seem to be bothered at all. He just wants to taste it.
Love it.
he's not actually like into gorging himself, but he's like, I gotta know what it tastes like.
Exactly.
I gotta know. It has to be known.
I just gotta know. So yeah, he's definitely gonna eat one, and it's like that cold sensation. Oh, it's very interesting. It's a bit sweet for me.
Mitch,
a
like
love
oddly enough, cuts the roll in half and puts half of it on top of their spellbook, where it seems to just disappear.
Does the book enjoy it?
Does the book like it?
Wolf is going to ask that directly.
You, so suddenly, like a kind of just this really strangely loud voice goes, "Damn it! I thought I told you to call me by my name."
It's too long.
But
All right. Besides pissing Michelle's book off, what else are we doing right now?
Yeah, Z would probably, greet our the rest of the party after reconvening, and then go back to our friend here that I am forgetting the name of already. I'm one of those people.
I did too. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Tamila and Bricka were our guides.
Yeah, Camille and Bricka are,
Yeah.
are the two guides, and they have names because they're important. I forgot the dwarf's name a lot. Don't worry.
I think I missed what race they are.
They're both Sathani, the
Okay.
twins.
Yeah.
Okay, but she'll turn back to our dwarf friend and just be like, so how much did you say it would be to part with these two for a little while?
325 gold. I'll let you rock for it. Just get them back here safely, okay?
I think we
I
can
will
do that.
protect them like my own companions.
We have a deal then.
They're good hands. All right.
All right.
So yeah, he'll kind of just like go back again for a bit, come back with like the rest of their like 2 bags of gear for them, and kind of just like say, "All right, be safe, you 2 dumbasses." He'll kind of just like offer a big salute and just kind of like nod, and then just say, "All right, meet us at the northern gate in about a couple of hours. We'll be with the trade caravan as we're heading out. If there's any more time you guys need to buy things, feel free. I will say ahead of time, I don't think we have space in the caravan for you guys, so either bring your own mounts or walk."
Looks like
Oh, it's fine,
we're finding some mounts.
Well, if you're looking to shop, Trapper Hashim is right down the road to the down the main concourse to the east there for a bit. He could probably help you out with that.
Not a bunch.
lot.
Wait,
Not a lot anymore.
Not anymore, but
Someone spent it all on sweet rolls.
Totally worth it. I'm telling you, it was worth it. All right.
all that matters
Matt
in the end.
agrees.
He paid for the experience.
Josh,
Two of
needs
them
to know.
saw you eat 20 and give.
Hey, you didn't.
We're like,
you
alright.
saw me.
We
eat
don't judge
16.
here.
All right.
You don't know.
I have a
what happened to
question
the
for.
other 4. No, I had 17. You don't know what happened to the other 4. They were just mysteriously gone.
Sorry, take you have a
Uh,
question?
I have a question for Mako. We handed him like 400 gold or something like that, and we spent only 200. Does he give some of the money back?
Fuck you guys.
I go up to the rest of our party and say, as promised, as promised, I procured some potions and I hand all 3 of them 1 potion.
Oh,
Thank
a
you
potion.
for,
That'll come in handy.
Indeed. Thanks for the money, or thanks for giving me the funds.
It's for the
No problem.
money, kids.
Any money left over, or did you spend all of it?
Unfortunately, I spent all of it. They were pretty expensive potions. I'll
Got
have to
it.
take it up with the shopkeeper.
All right.
Wolf's giving him the eye, but he's not gonna say anything. He's like,
Oh no, it's already happening. Oh no.
All right. So
I don't know. I don't think Z has a reason to vibe check that.
Okay, sure,
Her
whatever.
wisdom is also very low. That was one of my notes.
Well, it sounds like the rest of you guys all need some mounts. I'm good. I got my friend Net here, and I just.
well,
had him
it's a
on the side.
caravan. How quickly is it really going to move?
I mean, I'm not walking. That's up to you guys.
Fitz is kind of not very strong, so they don't really want to walk the whole way.
Agreed.
Wolf is fine walking.
I'd like to get him out.
Stop by the
All right.
trapper.
Trapper. All right, so as you are heading down the main concourse towards the direction of, where things should be, you're heading towards the direction the two pointed you towards as far as the trapper goes. When suddenly, as you are traveling, you hear the most ear-splitting sound. And then about 30 feet in front of you, a gate bursts open and a large raptor goes sprinting down the street. Behind him, a man with a Sathani man with a cane shambles out, dressed in very noble garb. In his other hand, he has a whip, which he currently has very coiled, and he is currently shouting in a tongue none of you can seem to translate in the direction the raptor seemed to have run down.
And is it towards us?
No, it's away from you guys. He's kind of just just shouting in some nondescript language in the direction. But eventually, as the raptor gets kind of far away, he just kind of just goes, and then kind of almost seems to just he's gonna kind of turn and just walk back inside.
Wolf, being a man of action, I think would go up to this trapper guy and hope he speaks common, but be like, "Sir, will that be a danger to anyone? Should I run after it?"
Your first question, yes. Your second question, I wouldn't bother.
Wolf doesn't know how to answer that, but
More importantly, who? He says, kind of looking you up and down. Exactly are you?
We're here for your services, I believe. He's going to gesture to his friends because he doesn't want to mount and isn't sure what we're going to do about it.
In an immediate persona switch, you just see his face just brighten up, and he dips into this very, very low bow and just says, "Well then, greetings, friends! Trapper Hashim at your services, dealing in all sorts of fine and exotic beasts from the lands of Zor'aa. How might I be of service to you?" You'll notice that all around you is sort of this massive sort of kennel with different sort of pens holding in different kinds of creatures. You'll see that up in front directly are these small sort of almost large house dog sized reptile like creatures, which sort of seem to be there's about 8 or 9 of them in a pit all playing around with some sort of large bone. A bit further back, you'll see sort of a bunch of stock stables with sort of large, maybe about a little bit like 3 or 4 humanoid-sized raptors. A couple of them even have stables on their back. And they're all kind of just standing there very, very patiently. A little bit further back, you can see, you only seem to have maybe 2 or 3 of these. You can see these very large creatures called Yabak. They are these very, very large herd beasts. Their skin looks kind of smooth, if not almost slimy-ish. You can maybe pick up some small hairs. But what you notice more than anything else is on the sides of their necks and even on the side of their mouths are these very, very large water sacs, which you can literally see fluid moving around in. And so Hashim kind of just makes a wave at all of these creatures and says, "How can I help you?"
We're aiming to cross the desert and seek mounts to help us do that.
Well then I have to ask how far you're traveling, as if you're looking for speed, then you're going to want one of my lovely riding raptors over here. At this point to the raptors. But if distance is your preferred thing, and you don't want to worry about the upkeep of trying to keep a carnivorous beast fed for a long journey across the desert, you might want these lovely and gentle Yabaks here. They survive on 98% water, believe it or not.
Also interesting.
It is fascinating. Of the 2 of them, just speaking to the party here, I feel like the Yabak would be the better option, considering we potentially.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's just this talking about also transferring or transporting stuff back.
This is
But
fair.
that's weight might be an issue.
Well, I think Wolf would. We are heading to the mountains to the north. It's not a great distance, but we may have to carry quite a bit. Are these creatures fine in maybe some mountainous areas? I'm not sure on the map if this thing's at the foot of the mountains or deep into them. So
more sort of at the foot-ish, kind of.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not as deep into it. But Hashim will kind of just walk over and slaps back of your back. This baby can fit so much storage space.
Yes.
I slap my friend Net and say, as much as this guy?
You know, that's actually a really good question. I'm actually not sure about that. No, Net's a large creature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll notice that they're probably about equal in size, but whereas Net is mostly like kind of like lean muscle and definitely meant to kind of like hunt and like scramble about. These guys are sort of big lumbering kind of like cattle almost, where they're meant to kind of like you could definitely probably fit more stuff as far as raw carrying capacity on your back than you could on Net, but Net's undoubtedly significantly faster and like more capable as far as like actually getting around.
Gotcha.
I would say though, you could definitely notice that given their unique size, you could probably fit Mitz and one other person on this on your back and still have room for like saddlebags and stuff.
You're gonna say,
Yeah, that was my next question, 1 or 2, but yeah.
There you go.
Wolf would like to not really talk to this trapper, but hear me out. Can I like use animal handling instead of like insight on some of these creatures? Not to handle them, but to get a sense of how easy it would be to control them, command them, how well they're trained.
Of course, go for it.
All right. Ploy might technically be better at this, though.
You can definitely tell just at a first glance that there is not really a uniform training level amongst any of these creatures. Some of them definitely appear calm, like they're not really bothered by anything at all. Maybe it's because they just ate, who knows? But at least a few of them, especially amongst like the raptors as you're looking, some of them seem a little bit jittery.
We could get one Yabak and one raptor.
Yeah, why don't I also check these animals out? I want to see how they compare to my friend.
Wow.
Yeah, so as you look at these, as you begin to start sort of taking a look and sort of gaze around at these guys, you definitely notice that the riding raptors they're bipedal, so they're bipedal raptors, and you can see by their incredibly powerful leg muscles that they are built for sprinting. They are speed. They're meant to get from point A to point B as fast as physically possible. They are speed. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Gotta go fast.
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah.
No, but your backs, again, if you're looking at them, they look like they're mostly muscle and lumber. They are all about just like getting around, like, carrying their own weight and maybe whatever you get about them. But again, you definitely can tell that for him saying that he feeds them 98% water, these yabaks all look insanely healthy. Like they all look very, very, very good condition. Like he definitely wasn't bullshitting about the whole they survive mostly on water thing.
Right. Well, all I can tell you guys is I would recommend getting yourselves a Yabak because we don't need speed. We're not sprinting anywhere. We're not going anywhere fast. Let me tell you.
It's very fair, and we value your opinion, friend. How much would it take to part with one of these lovely Yabaks here?
So you'll see him kind of like begin to kind of like go to each Yabak one at a time and like stare at it really intently in the face, and then they go to the next one. And then the next one, and then he goes, "You, yes, you." And he kind of just like, will kind of like grab the reins of one and begin to move it over and just says, "Bessie here is the most stable and sort of calm-tempered Yabak I have around. For her, 250 GP."
If only
And
we
he'll
had
even he'll kind of wag at you with his cane and say, "I will even throw in some saddlebags, free of charge."
Good. Someone who is better at this than Wolf really ought to roll some insight on this man.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, my insight's also not very good, but like, I feel like he would probably. Yeah, she's gonna try to vibe check. We're just gonna see what happens.
We're just gonna do a vibe check.
Check his vibes.
Deploy or Ms. 7
Please work.
insight.
Vibe check.
Deploy the vibe checks.
Mitz has no insight. Mitz doesn't care
Yeah,
about.
go ahead, you should do that.
Care about this kind of stuff as much.
That's a 9. I'm not good at
You
this.
can tell he's being completely honest.
I trust him if you do, Z.
All right. I mean,
Yeah, no, I did this. It's fine.
Oh,
sounds like
It's
you got
my
yourself a back
try.
now.
Also, I need to turn off
Mitch
virtual dice
doesn't understand at all.
maybe beyond.
Uh-oh.
no word, he rolled even worse. Yeah, it's
Oh,
hard to
that's
tell.
a 9 and then a
Oh,
2.
this man's so honest.
Yo, it's just hard to
This
tell.
man,
This guy's being real.
honest.
Okay, he's being real.
he's being so
convinced.
real.
For those of you in the chat that
Nothing.
can't see the rolls, so
Oh
for those of you
my
in the
God.
chat that can't see the rolls, we rolled
I
a
don't think any
9,
of you
followed
are
by a
gonna do-
2, followed by a 5, followed by another 9.
I mean, if we're all allowed to roll for this, then yeah, I'm gonna.
So we this
Go
man
ahead,
this
fuck it.
man is the most honest man we've
Go
ever
ahead, Wolf.
seen.
Fucking die, dude.
Oh,
Wolf got a 3.
We trust everybody. Okay, we're tourists.
this
All right.
man, this
We,
is the most trustworthy man I've ever seen. And he doesn't even
this is
sell
so sad.
sweets.
Oh no, we broke Foxxii. We broke him. We broke him with our terrible rolls. No. Oh my
This
God.
man's
Back.
so honest.
I'm good. Okay.
I've never seen a more honest man.
All right.
Well, I mean, okay. Fair enough. Based on Lucian's assessment of the animals, like, can we like tell that this is like one of the ones in best health in comparison?
Oh yeah, as far as
At
health
least.
goes, yeah. As far as
they're
like,
all
as
pretty
far as like
healthy.
health goes, yeah. The one you back looking like it's perfectly healthy. Like there's
Yeah.
like even you, Ploy, with like your slightly more like insightful knowledge of like the way these creatures probably work, you can tell for a fact like, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any obvious health issues with this Yabak. Like he's not selling you like a you know an older like decrepit Yabak. It's perfectly healthy. Seems. In fact, you can definitely see some lines of age. Like, in fact, a lots of lines of age, but all of them seem to have it. In fact, it seems like these things just live for a really fucking long time.
Yeah, elephants are wrinkly as hell. We don't assume one is old if we don't know what an elephant is.
All right. Yeah.
I feel like you would know what an elephant is. Maybe, I don't know.
Wolf
She's
would have.
perfected in history.
All right. Well,
I know what an elephant is.
the decision's
what-
all yours, guys. I'm not interested in buying a mount, but if you guys want to, we know the price. We know everything.
Wolf would have one more question about these Yabeks. He's like, so how much water do they drink a day?
Well, it's a day is a weird question, as Yabak tend to not really eat exactly the same way humanoids like you and I do. They not in the wild. Their herd tend to navigate from oasis to oasis, and when they get there, they spend days, if not up to a week or two on end, just consuming water. Most of which gets put into their body to be digested. The rest gets stored in those sacks, which keep them sustained for up to months at a time.
Interesting. Well,
Betsy here got fed about last week or so. She should be good for a while. Yeah, in fact, if you look over to like your left, actually, you'll notice this sort of like it looks like like the kind of pot someone would like store like their family wealth in. Like it's a really, really huge, massive cauldron that you imagine is probably like would have had water in it. It's empty. It's gone. Like there's nothing in it.
That is very interesting.
Yes, purple Phil. They're super camels. That's exactly what they are. That is
Super camels.
100% what I was going for. That is somebody picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Well,
picked it
we
up. There we go. Super camels.
well, if we only pick one, then someone other than me is also going to have to walk on the way back when we have all the stuff. But I'm fine with that.
I'm perfectly fine with that as well.
All right,
fine.
then then Bessie's yours. He will sort of recognizing you as like the most sort of capable with these creatures. He'll hand ploy the reins to Bessie and just say, "She's all yours.
All right.
Best of luck in your travels."
Are we splitting 250?
Gold or
I think Wolf will be like behind Mako and not say Mako and not say anything, but definitely like
okay, so Mako attempt, since Mako knows Wolf knows. So Mako attempts to slip Wolf 100 gold
Yeah, he'll take that.
to be his share.
Did you roll sleight of hand for me?
Please work. Please work.
Do I have to roll sleight of hand also to
Alright.
receive it, or?
Nah, he just like with with that roll, it's not even like he passes it to your hand. He kind of like slips it in like your pocket or something. He kind of like slips it off to you, just kind of like you feel like the intrusion in like your pocket, but like you recognize like, oh, it's okay, fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Wolf just Wolf just takes that 100, and because he doesn't he wants this group to work, and I feel like maybe this is something Mako has done before. At this point, if we've been working together for a while, and he just with the 100 gold is like, oh, I'll put up 100 for this. This is a fine creature that I'd like to take care of.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do here?
Besides,
Nope.
Mit's also putting up 100 gold to pay for it.
Yeah, we can work out the.
Alright, I'll do the last.
Yeah, we can work out the details of who paid what in a little bit. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it too
Alright.
much.
Alright.
Yeah. So as you guys sort of walk away from the trapper, still noticing the destroyed gate where that wrapped around the street, and maybe even like hearing a pain scream off somewhere in the distance, but deciding that's probably just not your problem. You'll see you'll see Tamil and Brekka just kind of outside, just like, hey, you guys ready to go? The caravan's waiting for us at the gate. And
I guess
as
we
you
don't
look
have
at the
time
gate-
for Wolf to hunt that thing down, because he's still kind of tempted to hunt that thing down.
Yeah, just like Wolf's just like looking off, and it's just like.
Yeah.
I
Play,
really could.
Play
Yeah,
sees
I was
Wolf
looking through
in
my
the distance and says to
list,
him,
like, oh, do we have anything? I
mean,
did
If
not.
somebody wants to roll animal handling to keep Wolf from sprinting off to go chase this thing down, I'm willing to allow that. I'm
That's a
willing to
human
allow it.
person.
Floyd turns to Wolf and
That's
says,
a human person.
Floyd turns to Wolf and says, I mean, do you think we have time? We could go and come right back.
I don't think we have
And
time.
I think
I don't
Mako
think we
seems
have
like
time.
Wolf just like is staring off. Mako just like walks into the field of vision and just goes, no, 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 just no.
Fine, okay.
In case you're still thinking about it, no. And
I
so
also
as
think
you guys
that Mako didn't say anything. He just like, and I was like, yeah, okay.
That's a shame.
so yeah. So as
I
you guys
pat Wolf on the
are
shoulder and say, that's a real shame we could have had. That would have been a glorious hunt in the middle of a new city.
And so, as you guys sort of turn to look towards where the gates where Tamil and Brika point to, you'll see a couple of large carts with sort of pairs of Yabak pulling them. There are individuals loading up everything from spices to metals to different kinds of things into the carts. There's sort of 3 carts. The type one you can see is that they're loading metals into. The second one has spices and foodstuffs and things like that. The third one is almost in sort of like the periphery of your vision, to the point where you can't really see exactly what's being loaded onto it, but there's definitely 2 or 3 Sithani individuals working very quickly to move big things of something onto the back of that car, into the wagon of that cart. And I think with that, we are at a perfectly solid spot to slide over to our break. We will return briefly with our adventurers heading off into the desert to finally explore this new and exciting world. And hopefully you guys will be there to join us. So, Bree,
Heck yeah.
take us.
Take us to where?
Take us to intermission, huh? Yes. Oh, I never did it. You're right. I'm so sorry. Wait, no, I got it. Hold up. I can fix this.
3.
Ride.
Welcome back to Seven Suns,
Yes.
where our players were just about to officially head out of the city of Wadal to begin exploring the deserts of Zor'aa with the merchant caravan they are currently traveling. So what I am going to briefly do is describe what things are like for your travels as the things go along, and I want you guys to give me a brief description of how do you busy yourselves as the caravan travels. So, again, there are sort of 3 primary Yabak-led carts, each of which having different things inside of them. There are some Sithani, some of them might be merchants, or some of them might just be travelers who booked passage on the caravan, but they tend to just spend their time in the carts. In fact, you'll notice that even as you guys like break for like meals or like resting, most of them tend to like stay near their carts, camping near them. Even some of them just like sleep in them. So like, it seems like unless you go out of your way to engage with them, none of them are gonna overtly bother talking to you. It's kind of like getting on a bus in the middle of the day. Like, your 2 guides are up at the front. They are both mounted on riding raptors, and they're kind of just like riding forward, keeping an eye on the terrain, and every now and then kind of like leading the caravan around one dune or another in different directions. And that's sort of where you guys are. So, Ploy, I would assume you'd be riding net currently.
Yes.
Where are you relevant to the rest of the caravan? Where?
I'd say I'm probably at the back, just laying on top of net, basking in the sun.
Not a bad man.
That's doing all the work, and you're just
Yeah.
Taking in the race. All right, which 2 of you would like to take reign over the Yabak? You guys just purchased, because I can. If one of them is Mitz, I will allow someone else to ride on the Yabak as well.
Well, Mitz is definitely on the Yabak.
So along with Mitz, who else will be riding the Yabak?
Mako will if no one else wants to.
I mean, like, Zenari's not very strong either. I feel like she would probably. Yeah, I did. That was the trade-off for charisma.
I mean, trade-off for speed or dexterity. Technically, I could probably just like hop on top of one of the wagons and just lie there.
you're just gonna stealth up on there.
Yeah. Just like
Mako,
relax.
if you want, I'll let you roll stealth if you want to convince the caravan that you are just a suit of armor that is being stored inside one of the wagons. I will allow it. I'll allow it. Roll stealth.
All right.
This could end very poorly.
Change my glasses.
Who's being carried by Wolf?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
As you approach, the caravan sort of just says like, okay, so how are you all organizing yourselves? And like, Mako just like stops moving entirely, just perfectly still. And they're just like, you seem to have a strange piece of armor there. Do you want us to carry that in the cart for you? We'll keep that with you if you want.
That would actually be lovely.
Yeah, not a problem. Like,
Walter's like, I'll carry it. Don't worry. We can just put it in.
picks up Mako, just like, oh. And so, Wolf, you'll notice actually. Oh, perfect. Wolf, you begin to drag Mako to the cart at the back of the caravan.
Drag. I can put it over a shoulder. Just
Just like you're carrying Mako towards that last cart in the back, the one you couldn't really see them loading you into.
Mhm.
As you do that, sort of one of the Sithani who was loading it will kind of just like, oh no, you want to put that one over there, kind of just like very, very deliberately kind of try to usher you towards the second cart and not the third one. Just like, you're not, it's too full in there. You want to put them in the second one. We got room in there.
Yeah, I think that leads into what Wolf is really going to want to do while they're on this caravan, is try and subtly, like, just kind of be close to that cart at times, just to do like a good sniff and try and figure out what is in it.
As Wolf is carrying Mako to the or away from the carriage where he was going to put him, Mako whispers in his ear, well, now my interest is piqued.
Wolf, I think, just very quiet.
And all right, so we're gonna come back to what Wolf smells in a minute because that's gonna be important. But we'll come right back to that. So let's check in with Z and Mitz. What are y'all up to right now? I'm assuming you guys are gonna ride on the Yabak since.
Yeah, we're probably gonna ride on the
spot
back
opened
and
up?
then be like consulting the map a lot and like navigating and all of that. Like it's
All right, fair enough. I respect that. You guys are just gonna history nerd it up for a little while. Nothing wrong with that. Cool. All right, so as you guys are traveling for a bit, your first sort of you guys leave at like the kind of like the height of the day. It's kind of like so it's pretty hot as you leave, but maybe like less than an hour or so into your travel, it seems like the sun is beginning to sort of like wane in the horizon a little bit, and things begin to set for a bit. You make it. Let me actually get my object tool. Here we go. You make it about a decent distance outside of the city for your first day before you guys stop to make camp for a bit. And as you are making camp, Wolf, you kind of like, as you're carrying, like your sleeping equipment off to like wherever you're gonna camp with your friends, you do sort of deliberately walk by that third, sort of like that third sort of canvas. There are two guards standing outside of it. They have both just like sort of like double-bladed kopeshes, and just kind of like there's a standing sort of very, very simply. They notice you and kind of like give you an eye as you go by. They don't say anything to you though, but they're not obviously used to shifters at all, so they're not really looking for your smell or anything. And as you walk by, you just take a couple of quick whiffs to get a nice good whiff of what's going on, and you get I guess like a tingle in the back of your nose almost. Whatever you're sniffing, you might not be able to tell exactly what it is, but it's an incredibly potent substance. And from the smell, what you're getting, it's not like an herbal pungence. It's a very, very, I guess, manufactured pungence. You seem to notice. Yeah, we'll go with that. And that's what you notice as you go by and get that whiff in.
Like sword oil and like manufactured metals and things.
No, that's the second cart. The third cart, you definitely get you still get like that pungent, like it's almost like a spice almost in the back of your nose, like something you would maybe find in like a wild flower that might be poisonous or like have some other medicinal properties to it, but it's like that twinge that you normally would like denote as like, oh yeah, maybe this root has like some slight medicinal properties. That it's like an overbearing twinge, like it's almost like someone like heightened it. Almost.
So like concentrated something. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, there's that. That's happening.
Yeah, I think like Wolf's path by that was to go towards the second cart where the armor is, and he's that was his excuse. Is like, just gonna check up on our stuff, and I think he is gonna try and convey that to Mako very quietly.
Alrighty.
Strong herbal smell coming from there.
Well, yeah, like I think he described it as like a medicinal smell, like someone is. Because his only experience with this would be like someone taking a plant and like grinding it up and reducing it into a medicine would be the closest thing he could really describe like that.
Yeah, you probably describe it as like ground up medicine, but insanely more intense.
Yeah, someone is concentrated like a medicinal flower of some kind.
Want me to go check it out?
If you think you can.
Do you want? Is that something you want to do this night specifically, Mako, or do you want to let that be a thing you do in the future?
Maybe not this night specifically, but maybe.
Anyone want to do anything particular tonight while you guys are setting camp? Anything of importance, or are we going to keep moving?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go up to Wolf and say, "Hey, Wolf, you wanna go hunt something?"
Yes. Yes.
Oh my!
Now that we have some time, let's go hunt some creatures.
All right.
Javelins.
As you guys go, as you guys sort of pack up, it's the middle of the night at this point. It's firmly nighttime. You can see a curtain of stars out around you. As you two get up, rouse, Ploy grabs his javelins and Wolf grabs his gear. You guys begin to go. Brika sort of like rises from the left bench and says, "The hell are you two idiots doing?"
We're gonna see what we can hunt.
Yeah, we thought we'd take the opportunity to do some hunting.
In the middle of the night?
I mean,
Generally, that's when it's the best, yeah.
Yeah, Net can see in the dark.
These deserts are, let's say, stalked during the night. I'd recommend you remain with the camp.
Wolf's willing to listen to the expert on this, honestly, but...
The look on her face is definitely one that says people have previously not listened to this advice, and she's just like, I'm so tired of telling idiots this. I am so fucking tired of giving this story.
I guess that means
I'm tired of these tourists.
Yeah,
Right.
I think with that context, Wolf would probably actually want to set up a little bit of a watch rotation. with the
that's fine.
worry and hopes of like, if we get attacked by one of these things, then it's an excuse to kill it.
So,
We'll stay on our guard.
Mitz, kind of hearing this, will just like, quietly lift up and ritual cast an alarm spell around their camp.
Fair enough. So as the night passes, the alarm spell never seems to go off. Wolf, as you employ, take the time to take watch and notice. You definitely occasionally notice, sort of like at the peak of the dunes, maybe a shadow or two drift by every now and then. But it's far too fast for you to track anything serious. It doesn't seem, and whatever it is, it seems that they saw all the fires of your camp and very quickly decided to get away. Things like that. So the next day continues. Your day begins, and give me 1 second, real quick.
Hey, Foxxii. Before we continue on to, I'm assuming that counts as a long rest, right?
Yes.
So Whispers of the Grave lets me get or Whispers of the Dead lets me get a skill or tool proficiency of my choice when I do a long rest.
All right.
Does that include languages?
No, they're different.
Okay. Never mind then.
Speaking of language, like I realize that Zathani is probably very different from Draconic, but are they similar at all?
There are some root words you can pick up that like they're definitely very distant tongues, but there are some similarities in root word. Like it's to the point. It's very similar to like if someone spoke like Old English to you right now, like Middle English. Like there'd be like 4 or 5 words you go, okay, that and that and that, but the sentence itself is just like I don't know what the fuck they just said to me.
So it's me talking Latin names with people. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mitz and Z are probably gonna go be like, oh yeah, we know these.
We know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're totally nerding over.
Yeah, that's probably about it. The next day will come along, and you'll notice that let me get my explorer's notes up. Here we go. There doesn't seem to be any wind in the distance today. Very, very, very calm winds today. It is, however, very hot. Like, it is sweltering. Like, I imagine you guys probably wake up in a decent bit of sweat, assuming you're not probably used to the heat. It's very, very, very hot. Very, very humid, though. There's a lot of sort of moisture in the air around you, as you're not too far from the lake that borders Wadal. Yeah, Wolf is not a dog, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But
he's from a very, very cold forest, so he's like,
this fucking sucks.
Mitz is kind of like looking like it's like a normal day for them. They're just
So
kind of like.
you'll notice that as you guys start your day, the camp sort of seems to pack up very, very rapidly. There's almost like a very, very rapid pace they set up. It's like, all right, get up, get your food in your belly, get your shit packed up, let's get moving, you know? And you guys kind of like manage to pick up on the haste, you get loaded up on your back and everything. And eventually you head off. And so you managed to make really, really good progress today. In fact, you sort of clear more ground than you even think would be perfectly normal of a caravan of this size to be able to set this day. You'd probably be able to maybe clear 1 or 2 of these hexes in a day, but you clear about 3 or 4 of these map hexes, about 100 or so kilometers in a single day. You're not too far off from the point where you want to divert. In fact, as you're sort of riding, Wolf, as you're walking sort of like towards the head, you'll see like Brika's raptor kind of like dip back a bit and just say like, yeah, about a day or 2 from here, we'll dip off to the north and head towards the mountains. Could you very quickly for me, and I'm gonna say, Ploy, you're also towards the front of the caravan, yes?
Oh, I was hanging out in the back.
Okay, never mind. Is anyone currently towards the front of the caravan?
Is being in the second carriage
Mako is.
near the front?
No. Mako, you're in the middle of the caravan. Is anyone other than Wolf kind of near the front? If not, then just Wolf, could you give me a quick little perception check? Perfection. All right, well, don't worry about what it's based on. How about you let me Dungeon Master and you keep doing your job? How's that sound? All right. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So Wolf, as you look forward, you're kind of like you're talking with Brika a little bit about like where you're headed and things. But as you look off to the sort of like on the path, you'll notice sort of like an impression in the dunes, a bit like a pretty deep impression. The hills and dunes always kind of like dip and rise, so this doesn't seem too out of the ordinary, but the size of this one just seems a bit off. It's Doom. It's definitely Doom size, but maybe a bit too big, even. And as you, so what do you? What I want you to like. I want to know what do you do the moment you notice this impression? That's what I want to know.
Well, Wolf is a man who understands when he doesn't have an expertise in a thing, and so he definitely, to his guide, I think you said it was Brika I'm talking to right now?
Yes.
Yeah, to Brika, gesture to that, and it's like, what has caused that? That seems not like a natural dune formation.
There's a couple seconds of silence, and as those few seconds of silence pass, you turn over to look at Brika, and her face is just like pale white, like she's just seen the most horrifying ghost one could ever see. She rears her raptor up, literally just like grabs Wolf by the arm to yank him away from the pit, turns back to the caravan and just screams "Uah!" as loud as she possibly can, indicating that they should be like moving towards the left. The first cart is very, very close to her and immediately manages to do so. It's just like they yank the reins in the rear back and sort of peel off to the left. The second one gets the hint and manages to get out of the way very, very quickly. Mako, while you're in the back of this, you notice just like a very sudden just shift off to the right as you just like are jerked as the cabin kind of like shifts off to one side. Maybe even like comes up on two wheels for a bit, but still eventually manages to like realign itself and move up to the right. That third one, however, doesn't seem to catch on as fast, and as it's moving towards this hole here, the driver tries to make a yank, and the leftmost of the pair of you back does make the left side. The right one, however, tries to turn and begins to sort of stumble over a bit. And as this happens, give me 1 second. Out of the sands, a massive chitinous pincer comes out and grips and digs into the side of your back. Another comes up, digs into the side of the cabin of that part of the caravan, and you can see a slight figure rising. It is massive, much larger than yourselves, any of the carts, the back pulling them. It is huge, and as it does so, it reaches forward, grabs these two things. You see this massive head, this massive insectoid head, pick itself up above the sands and sort of roar loudly, and then drag this back and this cart, part and parcel, down into the sands with it to disappear. And suddenly, there is silence.
Oh,
Yeah.
did we just drug an insect? Was that the one with the concentrated drugs? Oh no.
Maybe. You'll notice that so there were definitely 4 or 5 people in the back of that cart. They're gone. There's no sign of them at all. You know what? Not important. Anyway, yes, I guess it would be an arachnid-ish face, but I was going to because I was describing the face. Anyway, point being,
Wolf wouldn't know the difference. He buys it.
yeah, exactly. Shut up.
Looks like a crocodile to me.
So as you're doing this, you turn and notice that there's like some people coming out of the back of the second cart to get some looks. In fact, one person who, Mako, you noticed, although he spends his time riding in the second caravan, spent a lot of time hanging in the back of the third caravan a lot. He is flippant, just like incest. Just like, you can't tell the language, obviously, but Mitz and Z, you're definitely picking up on some very, very base swear words. This guy's just losing it, just very, very, very pissed off and screaming about the cart being lost. Yeah, that seems to be how that's going. The caravan will kind of pull off to the side, sort of like assess the damage, see what's going on. You'll see Brika and Tamil kind of ride back and just sort of like ride around and say, "Who do we lose? Is everyone okay? Where's the third cart?"
So the third cart is gone now, but the rest of us are here.
Shamana! I should have seen that coming. She's been so quiet recently. I don't know why she came so close to the road this time.
She?
Shalamaya, a Zoran devil. a native species of insectoid or of arachnid scorpion-like creatures. They grow big, but not that big. That one is Shalamea. Some believe she's incarnate of one of our gods. Others a punishment for those who have caused too much sin in the desert. I think she's just large and hungry.
I
She
share.
terrorize this area of the dunes, which is why most people who travel around here get a guide like us to keep things like that from happening. You think a card is bad? I've seen caravans, if not entire armies, lost to the swamp.
I share a look with Wolf and just say, later.
Yeah.
Well, just like,
It's like it's
We
a
can
little
handle it.
it's a little out of my weight class for now. Yeah, we can prepare for it though. Yeah.
Later.
kind of just like shaking his head to me, we'll just say, we'll offer them condolences and offer their prayers to their families when we get back to the city. But for now, we should just keep moving.
I would want to talk to her. And do you know what was in that cart?
So as you guys are sort of riding, Brika will, similar to what happened with the Doom, kind of like, not as seriously as what happened, but kind of like gently nudge Wolf forward a bit ahead of the convoy, just like, come up here real quick. Wadal is a city where those who have money have all the influence and thus all the power. Consequently, there are people who engage in, let's say, more illicit activity. It's wise of those of us not in the know to not ask any questions. Consider it advice from a friend.
Oh, and also now that this has happened, Ploy has taken Net up to the front of the caravan and is paying a little more attention, but is still basking.
So,
Yeah,
I would have been back.
that would have been pretty
Yeah,
unlucky.
make a new
I should
character.
watch.
So the caravan just managed to make it a bit further in distance, and before night falls. And in fact, right about here, where Brika kind of just stops and says, like, hold, we'll make camp here for the night. And just turns and says, and to you lot, this is probably a good point for us to separate off. We can either rest here for the night for the night, or if you're feeling comfortable, the mountains are usually a bit safer than the dunes. We can head out right now.
I'm fine to leave.
I'm also fine to
I
leave.
agree.
Ready?
All right then. Brika and Tamil will you'll see them go off to maybe say a goodbye to a person or two in the caravan, just sort of like maybe people they know, offer some gestures, and then they will sort of get back on their raptors and sort of gesture off to the north. Your group will travel a bit off, and you'll find that you're not really heading too far into the foothills of these mountains. Maybe just as it's starting to get a bit higher, you're nowhere near at cloud level. or anything like that.
Are you forgetting anyone?
Oh
Yeah.
right.
Well, no, I like it at last minute. Wolf's like, wait, hold on, and goes and retrieves their suit of armor.
They're stupid.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
We'd never forget you.
And so, as you're
It's
traveling
better.
and moving for a fair
Alright.
bit, you are taken through sort of a long, winding passage. In fact, it seems like Brekka and Tamil know pretty confidently where you guys are headed. Eventually, you end up in a cave and say, I'm pretty sure, and then they turn and say, Shah's last party headed into this cave. I don't know exactly where they headed in here, but Shalamea's rest is more than likely around this way. If you'd like, we could accompany you to explore the cave with you, but it'll up your feelings a little bit. We can negotiate that when we get back to the city.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't assume that you were experts at exploring tombs and such.
Well, we've had our fair share of dungeon delves here or there, but I wouldn't call us experts.
I was tasked with protecting you. I wouldn't want to risk that.
All right. So they'll kind of just like nod and say like very expectantly, just like, all right, understandable, not a problem. Brekka will sit with her bow, kind of just like at the ready by her things. Tamil will kind of just like look to her, look to you guys, and then kind of like put both hands on the hilts of his weapons and just say, "Then where would the fun in that be? I'm coming in with you guys."
We'll look at the rest of the party. I think it's you guys should have a little bit of say in that, but
We cannot guarantee your safety if you come with us.
It's a good thing for you, he says and flicks the axe on his left. I can guarantee my own.
In that case,
Opposed.
I would
Fair
feel
enough.
better if not leaving one person out. You know, I'd rather
I think
everyone
that's
in
fair.
or at least 2 or 3 out.
So he'll just kind of turn and like you'll see Tamil make like the biggest like it's kind of hard to tell because of the way their jaws are shaped, but like Tamil makes puts like on like the biggest shit-eating grin, looking at Bricka and just goes, "Hear that, sis? Guess you're coming too." And she'll just kind of just like, whatever. As you head into the cave, Brecca will kind of divert you guys to like a small sort of inlet and just say like, this is probably a good spot to leave your your gear and your mounts. I can't imagine they'll get anywhere left from here, and they'll bring you deeper into the cave. And I think this is a great time.
Hold on, does that include net? Am I leaving net behind?
No, you can bring that with you if you like. You can like take all the gear you stored on him off if you'd like. Or keep it on. It doesn't really matter that much.
Right.
But let me. So this is probably a good time for me to go ahead and move y'all over to here.
And
So-
also, is the ceiling high enough to where I can ride net?
Probably the ceiling rises about 20 or so above you. So you could definitely
If
see
you're
like
riding on the ceiling, hanging upside down, you'll be like a foot off the floor.
the cave is sort of like lined by these very, very high sandstone walls. You can denote that like most of the rock formations seem to be pretty similar around here. There is a very intricately carved network of different kinds of structures around here. As you sort of look around, you'll notice that to your right there appears to be a small sort of like an inlet river where some water seems to be flowing. Not a very strong stream, but certainly a decent enough trickle. Off to your left, there appears to be a sort of a small split in the path, and you can see off to your right a very distinct path where the walls look almost a bit more carved than just like down this way. The walls seem a bit more. Hang on, select tool. They seem a bit more carved than they do elsewhere. But as you look down this way, you can see a massive sort of pile of stones and debris all clogging what looks to be sort of like the passageway that would go down here. I guess you know what? I'd say Z, you're close enough. Z, do you mind giving me a quick little perception check?
Okay.
As you are technically the closest to the thing.
Natural one.
Oh well. You know what? I'll give you a bench on that because you're not doing anything right now. Go ahead,
You're
roll it.
not in your eye.
I'll give you another one. Go ahead. I'll give you another one. Doesn't matter. I didn't see it. It wasn't real. Much better.
18.
Much better.
Okay. Didn't
All right.
see it.
So,
Never happened.
Z, as you what are you doing? Anyway, Z, as you turn to look down, you can see again like this massive pile of like debris and rocks and things down this path here. And as you look sort of towards the base of that, you can see sticking out of like the pile of debris what looks to be an arm.
That's unsettling. She would definitely relay that information to the rest of the group. And yeah, just like definitely be looking at things that look more carved, like anything that like shows signs of like man-made stuff, civilization, all of it, like this per archaeologist background,
Actually, you know
all
what?
of that.
Because of your background and because of how you rolled, I'll give you this. You can definitely see the path over here to the right here, where the cave in is definitely carved. Like looks like this is man-made. Over here on this side, this sort of large bulk of this here all seems like it might be natural. Like this wasn't a carved thing. It might even look like it was recently uncaved. But as you can look off in the distance, bits back here look carved and significantly older than the carving you see over here.
She'd also relay that information. That's very strange.
That is odd.
Yeah, I do feel like
Perhaps
Wolf would want to
something-
check out where that arm is. Sorry.
Oh, just perhaps something tunneled its way through.
So, is there like a certain way you guys want to go? Do you guys want to go check out this? Do you want to go ahead this way? What's the call?
Yeah, Z would definitely be inclined to check out. Yeah, like what's under all this debris over here? If someone also wants to have my back too.
Wolf would definitely want to check that out.
Rico will go with her because man-made carvings means there might be traps.
I'm pretty sure you guys control your own tokens, so go ahead and do that. As you guys move down, you don't seem to notice any like change or indentation in the like walls. They seem pretty just like standard, like carved wall. And as you approach towards the cave in here, the arm you see is scaled. It's covered in scales. In fact, it's probably not even that hard of a stretch to notice that it's definitely Sethani. And in fact, as you look closer, you even see maybe another part of a body. This one may be like a side of the head almost, which is definitely more snake-like. Definitely dead and definitely crushed by all these rocks.
Chris, I can't move net.
Oh, you know what? Because I didn't.
Oh no.
Hold up. I got you. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. All right. So yeah. So you notice that there's definitely a couple of bodies here that look to be Sethani, and they appear to have been crushed by a cave-in of some variety. Also, that's how the crowd sounds because we're no longer.
Yeah, how stable? Yeah, how stable does this cavern look now, though? Like, if we approach and disturb something, will more of it cave in?
It does not look like it's exactly like it looks like it was a pretty thorough cave-in, but I would say at first glance it does look like if you shifted too much, you'd probably cause some more damage.
Okay.
I would want to like gesture to Tamil and Brika. And does this cave-in have any significance to you as experts in the area?
Well, cave-ins happen all the time around here. I'd imagine it could be anything from one of the from a Umatil nest digging happening, causing some seismic activity, to who knows what else lives in these caves down here. If something living even caused it, it's certainly possible. Or we're just kind of making their way down here, touched the wrong thing, and sent everything collapsing. Actually, now that we're thinking about it, those could definitely be a part of our missing crew of adventurers.
I was thinking the same thing, and based on my abilities, I actually can ask them, but I'm a little bit worried about procuring one of them from this cave-in. That could be a little bit precarious.
It could be something we do on the way out if.
Yeah.
We feel
Brico
like we
will
have
look and
resources.
say that, and Brico will look and just say, "Well, I didn't go out with the last group, but I know Miss Shaw sent out at least 5 adventurers, and I only see 2 bodies here. The rest could be crushed by the cave-in, but
True, or they could be elsewhere.
I'd say
that's
that's the thing we do.
the other path and kind of like look at it and say like, and what's up with that?
What was he pointing at?
The other path over here, like this way over here.
Yeah, it's really odd. It looks more natural in some portions, but the other side looks still carved, but a lot newer than this one. I don't entirely understand it.
As you guys approach,
Thing.
As you guys approach, if any of you have a specialty that you feel like might be relevant to like geology, nature, cave-in, anything like that, feel free to give me a relevant skill check. I don't really care which one. It could be I also would just like take a flat insight check if you guys want, but I know those haven't really gone well.
Yeah.
They have not gone great. Just like in general, like she'd probably be looking for any like actual like writing or like carving, like writing into the stone or something, if possible.
Go for it. Let's see.
Mako would probably be just looking for any signs of traps that might pose a danger.
Investigate.
Perfect.
Mitz is gonna try and also
Nice.
investigate for runes.
So, Ploy and Z and also Mitz, the 3 of you, as you guys are looking, you definitely get the sense that whatever is like this pathway, this sort of more carved pathway that's being exposed, was definitely probably covered by either debris or a rock wall formation or something was keeping this thing disclosed from sight or from discovery, and whatever caused this cave-in probably also shifted enough sediment things to reveal this thing, which is why it looks so much older than the other carved path you seem to be investigating in. As you are looking even further, you'll notice that the walls seem to kind of give way into a more stable looking structure. And as you head in, you see 2 massive statues guarding over a small fountain with a statue in front of it, in front of 2 large stone double doors. There is inscriptive carving in concentric circles all around the doors.
Ooh. Mitz immediately starts scrawling the inscription into mwah.
Makes sense? Oh, I should probably move the NPCs, huh? Listen, it's hard to do a lot of
Turns
things.
out they did want to stay at the mouth of the cave after all.
Boop, there you go. They're here.
Yeah.
There you go. Everybody, the gang's all here. So, let's see. Yeah, so as you can see in front of you, there are the 2 large statues that that sort of like they look snake-like and appear to be holding a large sort of quarterstaff-like weapons and gazing down at this sort of small pool in here. There are sort of small flecks of water in the pool, along with what looks to be stains of some kind, but you can't really tell. There's also a few gold pieces in the bottom of the well.
Would I like understand the significance of this at all?
Yes, actually. Now that I think about it, Z, you recognize those two statues as representing Freki and Trekkie. They are 2 minor deities of the Sethani faith, or the sort of 2 minor deities that appear in a lot of different faiths in different images and have different names typically. But these 2 are typically gods of trade and travel. They're typically gods that everyone from like merchants, pirates, privateers, sailors, explorers would pray to. And sort of one of their common beliefs is that in order to appease them, an offering of blood, water, and gold must be given.
Does Mitz know anything about this fountain here?
Well, yeah, honestly, you guys have both been tomb delving enough that you've probably seen at least a few tombs similar to these, dedicated to these gods. And similarly, you typically know that like those fountains, again, are typically either a part of a ritual or a part of some other sort of ceremonial thing. But again, you are very aware of that. Typically, travelers or traders who like either pray at shrines to these gods or anything like that would offer a sacrifice of blood, gold, and water to appease these god figures. There does not appear to be any handle or mechanism on the doors, by the way.
Can Mako take a crack at it and see if he can find anything with his thieving instincts?
On the door?
Yeah.
Go.
Right.
So Mako, you go up close and begin to go and start like digging around for any kind of like mechanism, a latch, sort of evidence of gears, maybe a pulley system, some counterweights. You find nothing. In fact, you're pretty convinced nothing about the way this door works is done mechanically. It's probably magical.
Mitz turns to Z. Ritual, you think?
Looks like a ritual to me. Blood, water, and gold.
Alright. I provide the water.
And how do you do that?
So, Mitz will uncap the decanter at their waist and just whisper stream.
Nice.
Hey, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Other actions from other people as Mitz pours this water in?
Wolf, if he hears them say an offer of blood, like if they say that out loud, he will prepare to just like hold a forearm out. He's like, I just think you're useful, but this is nowhere near my expertise.
Blood, so...
I think his instinct is he has like a hand axe at his hip, and that's effectively a knife for him, and he just has it out and he's ready to like just say where and when.
Mako.
I would like to roll a little bit of like what in the world this pile of boulders is up here. Just a little perception. I'm looking on that. More out of just curiosity, because this is not where Wolf is an expert at all.
Definitely appears to just be more evidence of the cave-in, just like a lot of rock and debris shifted. You can definitely tell it doesn't seem to be like it was shifted too like long ago, but
Mhm.
appears to be more evidence of the cave-in.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, at the party's behest, Wolf will go ahead and just like split open a bit of his skin and let like a drop or two of blood enter into mixing with the water. Currently entering the well. Anything else?
Mako pulls out a few gold pieces and gives them Mitz and Z, since probably doesn't have the clearest idea of what to do with the gold portion.
I'm assuming it all goes into the pool together.
Very well.
It's a good thing we didn't decide to drink this if other people have been bleeding into it constantly, as a thought.
So yeah, you pour a bit of you go ahead and pour the you drop all the ingredients in. There's sort of a swell of hazy energy, almost kind of like heat rising from the well for a brief bit, and then you sort of notice a very distinct rumble as those two doors split open very, very slowly, sliding apart as if by some sort of mechanism, although there's, as mentioned already, no mechanism involved. And that will see you guys taken through a very, very large hall, and this is where I'm gonna actually kind of like low key. I'm gonna spoil. I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna spoil, but I'm gonna say something that you guys wouldn't have known. Technically, there was gonna be like a really fun, like, or not like really fun, but like there's gonna be like a minor like trap thing happening at the beginning of where you guys first walk in through the door. But in the interest of keeping us moving time wise,
Literally said I checked the traps like
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just have us go ahead and enter into the main hall. Give me 1 second. No thanks. Hold up. Wait.
I think our marching order is probably Mako looking for traps, but as soon as we're like in the tomb, I think Wolf has put like his axe away and he has an immovable rod in his back pocket that he just has in his hand. And his entire plan is if it looks like a ceiling is going to collapse or a boulder is going to roll down from somewhere, some Indiana Jones bullshit, his plan is to put the immovable rod between him and that thing to stop the rest of the party getting crushed.
If only he had
Actually, really funny because the trap plan was a giant falling boulder, but we'll deal with that later. Anyway, so
Of course.
you pass through this large double gate and enter into what looks to be some sort of main altar-like hall, almost. There is a massive sort of huge room in front of you with a door going in 3 different directions, as well as the one behind you, probably going back out to where you were, obviously. There are 3 large pillars kind of holding up this very, very high, maybe 100 or so feet above you ceiling. There's also 2 serpentine altars filled with water on either side here. And there's also sort of these like that what look to be maybe that lake from outside running in maybe 2 separate streams through here. And there's the fall down here is about maybe 10 to 15 feet in these crevices here. And as you enter into the room, you notice that on the ground in front of you, the first thing you'll notice is that all the braziers in here are lit, but there's no evidence of coal or like anything to hold a flame. There just seems to be this orange-ish glow emanating from the braziers and torches on the wall. Probably also magical, you'd assume. And more importantly, there is a single mutilated Sithani body on the ground in front of you. There does not appear to be any sort of evidence of a ritual altar or anything he might have been sacrificed upon. You guys have seen plenty of skeletons and bodies on altars before in your line of work, but this just looks messy.
Well, we found a third now. And the first thing Z wants to do after seeing that and no altar is to look up on the ceiling.
Smart. I like that. As you look up, Z, you notice that mostly just like stalactites and like, typical cave ceiling-ish things. But you also see what look to be these kind of hanging cages almost. There's a bunch of them, maybe like 20 or 30 or so, hanging very, very high up. And as you look up, almost immediately, 4 of them burst open. And from these cages, 4 figures hop down and almost seemingly completely unconcerned about the drop, just plummet to the ground, land, and you find yourself surrounded by 4 Sithani individuals carrying kopeshes and bladed shields. But something about them seems a bit strange. Namely, the fact that they are wrapped in cloth and smell like death. Could I have it for my players, please?
Yep.
Amazing.
Oh wow,
We shall see.
Wolf is ready.
Wolf is very ready.
Oh, hold up. I did the thing. Whoops. There we go. Here we go.
Why did I roll another natural one?
Oh no.
He's not ready to fight. I'm gonna go
These
get
are
a
very
snack.
Watching them.
All right. Let's see. So who we got? We got.
Oh,
That's the wrong thing.
that's all.
Let's see. So, and then I got. Where is it? Wolf, you got it. Actually, no. I'll take this on this easier way to do it myself. Wolf, you were first, right?
Oh yeah.
I got 21, so probably.
Gotcha. Wolf, and then it was Mako, and then it was. Looks like Mitz, and then the bad guys, and then Z. And let's see. We'll get some cool like.
What about me?
Oh, Ploy, my fault, bro. Where'd you roll?
9.
Okay, so you're right after the bad guys as well.
All right.
All right, and then let me get a.
Here we go. Very dramatic.
You know, we going for it. We here for it. All right, Wolf, go.
All right, so he would like to rage, and I really like the description of this. That as a, I would like to rage. Yeah. So when Wolf rages, he kind of chooses what part of his body shifts to be more animal-like, and generally his first plan of attack is both of his arms turn into these just massive paws. They almost look more bear-like than wolf-like. And yeah, he's going to just run at this guy here.
Do the thing.
Yeah. So no weapons or anything, just instantly sprint through one of these mummies, and the one at the top left. That's the first attack.
This one?
Yep. No, yeah, the one at the top.
Top left.
This guy there.
Yeah, you can move your own token, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. I indicated on arrows what it was.
It's all good. I got it. So, but yeah, you attack twice or 3 times, right?
I can technically attack 3 times, and he's just gonna keep swinging at this thing till he goes down. So
Keep swinging. Second one hits. Third one hits.
I guess also I'm recklessly attacking, so these are all with advantage, but they wouldn't have helped.
Well, they all hit. Well, it's the damage. Roll the numbers. Yo, honestly.
Ridiculous.
And then this is
For those who can't see rolls, Tate rolled an 18, a 23, or a 25 for the attack rolls. And for those who are wondering why that's so high, they're all level 5.
We're level 5.
Yeah.
I think you can just click on the word there and get damage, like the actual word rage clause. Okay, cool.
Yes.
yeah, they're a D6 each, and I get +5 to each of these because I am raging. So
Okay. So yeah,
Ridiculous.
well, you walk up and like you walk up on this guy and you savage him with like he puts the shield up, like try to like block you. You kind of like begin battering that around. Clearly not enough, and like you can see like this guy kind of like you feel less resistance on like your third or so swing. You feel like less resistance from the shield. Clearly, he's definitely not looking exactly on the healthiest side of life. So to
okay,
speak.
then I'm going to bonus action. Oh no, I've already used my bonus action. Never mind.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Mako.
Can I even get to...
Do you have a hand crossbow?
Yes, I do.
What are you worried about it for then? Just do
All
the
right.
thing.
Alright, so I'm here. Okay. So is this guy... Wait, is this guy still alive?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, Mako is going to... Yeah, alright, let's do this. Mako has move speed of 35. He's going to use Cunning Action to take Dash as a bonus action. Run over to the same guy that Wolf's fighting. and with his rapier, go for the sneak attack.
Do you think? You are flanking him, so you can see ahead. I'm okay with it.
Alright. How do you... okay.
You got it. I believe in you.
Sorry, just gotta do
No, you're fine. Take your time.
What the heck? Sorry, it's...
You okay?
Yeah, just, this is... I'm trying to say with advantage. Say with advantage.
Oh,
That is weird. I don't know what just
yeah,
happened.
just go normally, dude. Just go normally. It's fine.
Yeah, just roll
Alright.
normally, and then we'll manually add it.
Oh my god.
Oh, well.
Okay, so a 7 with
It should be like +6, right? If you're
Yeah. Attack bonus.
yeah.
7 is what?
Yeah,
15?
plus
13. Oh, 13. Oh, so yeah, you missed him there.
damn.
It's like you come up to try to swipe at them with your sword, and you kind of just like, as he's like using the Kopesh to like weather the storm of Wolf, kind of just brings up the kind of like bats your slash away and like kind of like keeps an eye on you, and then kind of turn back and like hiss at you in a very very strange voice.
Okay.
Anything else you got?
No, I use my action and my bonus actions.
Mitz, give it to him.
All right. Question for the GM.
Listening.
Since these guys are all near the water, right?
Uh-huh.
Can I use shape water to like shackle them to the river?
I'll allow it.
All right. So Mitz is gonna walk a little closer to these guys.
What's the range on how much water you can get with shape water? It's like it's in like within like a 5-foot cube or something, right? Or like 10-foot cube or something.
Yeah, the distance is it's a 5-foot cube, but I can do it from 30 feet away.
Okay, that's fine. So then you can only restrain one of them then.
Yeah. So I'll restrain this guy with shape water.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
I will have him do a quick little reflex save. Don't worry, they're really bad at this. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Let me do a quick reflex save. Did it go?
There it
What's your
goes.
spell save DC, Michelle?
There it is.
15. I gotta beat a spell save DC of 15.
It failed. He's restrained.
Yay.
He is now restrained. So yeah, water like rises, like tendrils of water rise up from the pool behind him and kind of like lash at his ankles and hands. And he kind of just like, these things clearly don't think very much, but like you can see that he's very very confused, for lack of a better word, at what in the world is going on.
All right. And
Anything else?
that's it for Mitz.
All right, they're up. So this one here is going to just kind of like start dashing. Or not. This one here will dash to come right here, and it'll stop right there. This one
As far as
here,
you get.
yeah, will come right to here, and we'll take start doing some attacking at Wolf. Let me get the sheet up. Hold up, my fault. Why are you loading? That's not right.
Why are you loading?
Oh, hold up.
A lot of quips.
I will remind the DM that they have advantage against me because I'm recklessly attacking. Wolf is not defending himself. He is just sprinting
So,
headlong into danger.
First attack with a 14 hit.
It does not.
Second attack does a 16 hit.
I believe tie goes to the roller, so yes.
All right. In which case, and then last attack, I'll get that out of the way too. That's a crit. Okay. Yeah. It's 23 hits.
That's not good.
I don't like that.
All right. Let me. Yeah. So I need you to take. You're raging right now. So you're resistant slashing, right?
Yeah.
You take 7 slashing damage as well as 9 necrotic damage. I need you to take a DC 12 reflex or Constitution save. Don't ask why.
Let's say Constitution. Yeah, that's that by a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, just take the damage then. So yeah, 7 plus 9 slashing damage, or 7 of it was slashing, the 9 of it was necrotic. Which I don't think you're resistant to, are you?
Nope.
Sad. So yeah, then the one that's already kind of trying to fight at you will also try to do that thing where it attacks you.
Oh yeah, that thing. Mhm.
Actually, you know what? Let me just check that real quick.
Attack.
You know what? These things aren't that dumb. So it will attempt to step back and disengage from you. Taking the disengage action to just basically step back and kind of play the defensive role back here.
I can get a reaction to hit him, right?
You go, do the thing.
Oh, even with disengage?
Oh, did
Yeah,
he disengage?
they can't take the disengage action because they're dead. They're not very. They don't move very fast.
They're dumb.
Yeah, they're not really good at that. But, so yeah, you can swing at them. That's a hit. Damage.
A 9.
All right, so he takes 9, and like you kind of like slash at like him as he goes to go back away. You tear away sort of some of the bandages and covering on over him, and below you see like decrepit, rotted, very very old flesh. And distinctively, you see some really awkward markings, like almost tattooed all over the arm, head, and sort of face of this Sithani individual, who, by any looks of it, and if anything by the smell you can get, is very very dead. But he definitely does not look very good after that slash. And the last one here is currently restrained and can't do anything. Ploy!
All right.
Ploy!
Yes, Floyd.
Boy.
Ploy!
Let's start with Ned. So, Ned's just gonna come over here and bite him. So, let's see if that works. Nom nom nom.
Does not. That's a miss.
Okay. Alright, so then Floyd is gonna. Okay, hold on. How far can I throw a javelin? 30. How far is this guy? Ooh, that's a lot more than 30. Alright. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move.
You can focus on your guy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move to here. And then. Yeah, perfect. 30.
There's a column between you and him.
Yeah, there's a column between you and that guy, Lucian.
Alright, fine. Then I will just throw 2 javelins at the one next to Net.
Got it. Go for it. Do the thing. Do the throw. First one's a hit.
Alright, so then that.
Second one's a miss.
Okay. Cool. So then.
So just 3 damage once. 6.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah,
So-
you reel back and you like hurl a javelin and it like thunks directly into like this thing's like upper torso. It kind of seems to like look at it and just go back to like trying to fight Ned. And with that, we go to our frenzy. Unless you have any
Alright,
Sorry, Floyd. Do you have anything actions?
No, that's.
Okay, cool. Z, have fun. Do the thing.
Okay, I am restarting Roll20 right now because it froze on me.
Take your
But-
turn.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay.
You're not gonna have to go while you do it.
It's all good. I just gotta make sure my measurements were correct because it happened while I was doing that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, using this pathway to avoid that, she's going to go
around that.
Yeah, don't want to do that. She is going to, like, basically be stepping over this mutilated corpse of the Sithani, and just start, like, weaving this, like, very aggressive tapestry of draconic words that just sound like insults to basically anybody listening, and is going to cast Bane on all 3 of these that are in range of her. So this guy, and this guy back there.
Go for it.
So I need some charisma saving throws.
Oh, not charisma.
Yeah,
How
charisma.
charismatic
God,
are
like it's charisma.
I wonder how charismatic zombies are. Huh.
Not very. If you were wondering, here's one. Here's two.
That's a fail.
That's actually not bad.
Fail.
Here's
That
three.
one wasn't bad, but
That's also a
all
fail.
three of them failed.
Okay, well there you
Okay.
go.
So they are banned, which means their attack rolls and saving throws have minus a d4 now.
That's fun.
It's a good time. Okay, and she's gonna see Wolf over there being harried by things. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, don't let them bite you. Take a work inspiration for that.
Hey,
Helpful advice: don't get bit.
yeah, it wasn't pleasant.
I did not enjoy.
Wolf gets much more grumpy when he's fighting, so he's much less polite. Suddenly, he's like, "Yeah, sure."
Anything else from you, Z?
That is all.
All right. Cycling it back around. Oh, wait, our friends. So yeah, Tamil will kind of just come out here. So he's a very fast boy, so he'll come right here, and he will do some attacking at this guy here. Okay. Okay. So Tamil just crit twice.
Amazing.
Hang on. I need to get more dice. Hold tight.
Good.
Oh shit. I didn't plan on this. Why are my NPCs so good?
It's the curse of DM NPCs. They will
Alright, here we
accidentally be hidden.
So yeah, so Tamil kind of comes up and like you see him, he draws the Kopesh in his right hand and kind of like forward and draws the axe in a reverse-handed grip. It kind of goes into this like almost like spinning, waltzing dance as he like moves around this this mummy like figure. He takes 2 slashes at it. So Tamil just kind of like sees you guys off doing all your fancy shit. Is like, I can show off too. Just like runs up, starts doing this really cool, like fancy, like almost Beyblade like dance around this guy.
Spin away.
At some point during the spin, you see his blades lash out. One like cuts deeply into this thing's chest. The other just lops the head off. And like so, just like not finished, like
Okay.
and like it just falls over dead. And he turns to Brika and goes, "That's one, by the way." Brika then walks up here, sort of coming closer to Mitz, and will take a shot at the one restrained by her. As it's restrained, it's going to be significantly easier to hit. Okay, another crit.
What's wrong with your NPCs?
So yeah, like Brika would kind of just line up with her arrow. She'll let off 2, kind of she's like 2 notch in it. She'll let off 2. The first one kind of like punch in its head, in its chest. The second one will go in its head. You'll see her smirk and like turn to me and just go, "That's one for." And then looking back, kind of just see like the zombie or the mummy guy just like snap its head back and like turn its head a bit. Just go, "I hate the undead." Wolf, you're up.
Aha. So, do I have any sense for how like heavy these guys are?
Not very.
Yeah, all right. Then I'm going to grapple this man in front of me.
Okay, strength check. Or athletics, or whatever it is.
Yep, and I have advantage at this because I am raging.
You are raging. What you got?
16.
Let me see.
Nah.
That didn't work.
No, it didn't.
You got him!
And so my plan, and hear me out, I have proficiency in improvised weapons. I'm going to hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Yes!
So I'm walking up to this guy and using his friend to smash him to death.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And actually-
roll me 48 damage. I don't give a
Okay. Well, I mean, I do have to roll to hit, but it's just a plus
fuck.
6.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck a hit roll. Roll me
All right.
48 damage plus your strength.
Oh, wow.
No.
okay, for chat, I'm a very, very rule of cool DM. I'm very much just like, nah, I don't even want to risk the chance of this not happening. Just roll damage.
It's a strength-based attack, so I think I also get my rage damage, right?
Oh, do the thing. Have fun.
Oh no.
Do the thing you just said. Oh, hey! So like Wolf, you just like, yeah, you know what? No, Wolf, I'm just gonna say this. They're both dead. Tell me how it happens.
Oh yeah, well, like, Wolf with his massive bear claw just, like, palms this guy's chest into, like, his rib cage and lifts him up and then just running smashes him into the other guy. Just... And if it all disintegrates from the impact, then it all disintegrates from the impact. He's not thinking about, oh, there's evidence on their body. He's like, must smash!
Yeah, the guy you smash into the other guy just comes apart in a spray of, like, bones and body parts. The other guy is not like more imprinted on the wall, but he's very much not moving anymore. It's pretty evident that they're both quite squished.
Yeah. And then I guess because there's still people around, I will use my bonus action to shift a little more. This is a shifter ability. I think that like Wolf's beard gets like longer and thicker, and then like all the hair on his body gets just more so, and his skin sort of toughens. And he has +1 to AC, and gets some extra health.
Yes, 10 HP.
Yeah. I think it's con plus level. So.
Chris, is this guy? Hold on. Is this guy dead? Didn't
Yes. Oh, you're right. He's very dead. Nah, we'll be fine.
I'm sure about that.
Don't worry, I have plans. Don't worry, I have plans. Shut up. It's an 8. Shush. Anyway. Technically, the call is going out in 2 minutes. That's not important right now. Anyway, more important. We're focusing on this right now. We're here. We're in the moment.
And if I have one more attack, Wolf will draw his hand axe and just like huck it at the other guy.
Go for it.
The other guy's still restrained, right?
Yes. So advantage since it's range attack.
I mean, I have advantage on that anyways. Oh, look. Well, it's a good thing I have advantage.
Yeah,
Nope.
that one mistake. Let's roll another one.
I'm in cyberpunk mode. Sorry.
No, what's different? It's different.
14, there we go.
14 hits.
All right.
Does the 14 hit? No.
14 hits. Yes.
Ah.
We know what their armor class is now.
10 damage. All right. So yeah. With the 2 arrows from Brika already in him, and now a hand axe firmly embedded somewhere in the right side, this thing does not look much better at all. Doesn't look good. Looks like it's probably on its last legs, on its way out. I think that brings it over to our friend Mako.
Okay. Okay. Mako tries to maneuver into in range of the.
You're good. Yep. I'll do it.
So Mako maneuvers. Mako maneuvers in crossbow range of the last zombie. He still has advantage, right? Because it's still restrained. All right, and he. And Mako fires off a hand crossbow shot.
That's a hit.
Alrighty. And since alright, I'll roll for damage and then I'll do sneak attack as well.
Oh, you can for this? Oh yeah, just tell me how it goes. Don't worry about it. Tell me how it happens.
Alright. Mako runs around the pillar and like grabs the side of it with his hand to like do like a swing, and then with his other hand he draws the crossbow and like using his forward momentum just fires off a shot into the zombie.
Yes, I got it.
Aiming for its head.
Yeah, the bolt thunks very solidly right in between what you imagine where the eye slits in this mummy wrapping would be. It thunks, and once again it throws its head back, but unlike with Rika's 2 arrow shots, it continues to lean back and falls all the way back down into the water beneath you silently. And thus, I will bring us out of initiative.
Hey.
Oh,
So yeah, as things fall quiet, you take a look around. As you examine the bodies, you definitely 100% notice that, again, these appear to be mummified Sethani. In your traditions, in your experiences, typically mummification is a process reserved for royalty, for people of higher status and renown. But there's no status symbol or marking on these things. They appear to just be regular fucking people. Of note, definitely, and Wolf, you definitely noticed this more so on the one that you like, the one you got that one swipe back that took the wrapping off. You can definitely see these like black and red ink-like markings all over the skin of this guy, and as you kill it, as you drop this this mummy, they all begin to vanish. All the markings on its skin.
I think Wolf would grab the one that's exposed and run over to Mitz, and be like, "Draw thing quickly."
Oh, right now!
Mitz just
Look what I
immediately,
did.
Like, spins up creates a quill, and just immediately starts scribbling as much as possible.
And there is a sort of awkward, tense quiet for a bit as Mitz begins to frantically scribble these inscriptions. Mitz, I'm going to have you, maybe not right now, but at some point later and during the week or when we talk again, have you roll some stuff to see how well that went for you. But don't worry about it right now. But as you are going through doing all of these things, a strange silence settles in. You begin to look around and you see after these sort of guardians, these things pass on, expire, this left double door here and this forward double door here both slide open, but this right one here doesn't budge at all. In fact, there seems to be like a stone almost slab that's like slid down over on top of the door, definitely by design. But where the other two sort of automatically open once the enemies are cleared, this third one here remains fervently locked away. And as you're scribbling down Mitz, you might even go to pick up ahead to tell your compatriots about, actually, you know what, I'll let you do that. Is there anything you want to quickly say to your compatriots about just like, hey, I got these things down?
Mitz is just gonna hiss at them. Take a look. Let's just motion over to Z to take a look at the.
And Z, as you go to look at these, you definitely denote that they are magical in nature, 100%. And more directly than magical, you noted some of the sort of like the ley lines carved into these inscriptions in these runes definitely indicate magic that has to do with the spirit or soul. It does appear to be rapidly fading from this person's skin and body. And as you're taking this time, and maybe you lift your head to even let Mitz know. Actually, you know what? Again, I'm not gonna take it from you. RP it out. Have fun.
yeah. This is magic that is a little concerning, actually, having to do with the soul and the spirit that inhabits the body. I'm getting a creeping suspicion that there were souls put in these.
Souls magic, you say?
Putting
Interesting.
souls into inanimate objects.
And in the
Wolf is
level
sitting
of
there
that-
carrying his body and just like, yes, I understand.
What was
Deep-
that?
From deep within the temple, there is this cacophonous roar, like something has clearly been disturbed. And with that, I believe we will call sessions 1 of 7 Suns over. I want to thank all of you lovely, lovely, lovely individuals for coming and hanging out with us. This campaign is going to be so fun. Fun fact, I plan on this going like twice as
For him.
long, but so many things have happened, and I'm really excited with where we're going.
And it has somewhere to be.
But yeah, so there are a lot of fun things happening. When we return, we will have our adventurers continue to explore through this mysterious tomb they found themselves happened upon, and maybe eventually report back to Shah Valen with any findings they make. I'll go from there and allow my players to go around and say their plugs, anything they want to talk about that they do, and we'll go from there. And then I'll do myself. Yeah. I know, right? It means I don't have to
Perfect.
write next session. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Hey,
All according
Hey.
to his grand
Yeah.
kink.
So we'll do it. We'll do it this way. I'll introduce your players, and you can introduce yourselves, and then and then you plug yourselves and do what you think to do. So from left to right, thank you for joining us today, Wolf.
hey, I'm Tate Washburn. I play Wolf, the shifter barbarian with strong werewolf boyfriend energy. You can find me at kinda_writing on Twitter. I talk about tabletop mechanics and politics and fantasy writing, world building stuff. Although you should really follow the Twitter for this account, actually. The Neon
Neon lights are play.
not Neon
Yes.
Lights are play. I get it wrong every time.
It's on the overlay. It's okay. It's okay. It's on the overlay. It's right there at the top right. You can all see it. There's
It's
a Twitter.
likely connected below stream too. We also have a Discord server.
True.
That's
Oh
also
yeah,
true.
that's true.
There's a
I should
Discord.
you should totally do that. That's true. We do have a Discord server. Y'all should come hang out with, and we'll plug that again in a little bit. But before that, thank you for joining us, Mitsunkodal.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I don't do social media. That's it.
That's true. She doesn't
A
have to
true
do that.
scholar has no time for social media.
Exactly.
That would have been nice when I was a scholar.
Nice to know, right? Bringing up next, thank you very much for joining us, Ploy, and welcome to the Neon Lights, by the way.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lucian. I play Ploy. You can find me on Twitch at Ublissa, maybe twice a year.
Can they
You'll
though?
stream Hades twice a year,
Twice a
punk.
year. Twice a year. But yeah,
In like 6
besides
years,
that-
maybe he'll beat it.
Or it was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, he's already
besides
beaten it
that,
before on stream.
That's also
Yeah.
true. I hang out in the Discord too sometimes. But yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine hanging out places.
We're super glad to have you, dude. We can't wait to go on more of this campaign with you. I'm so super glad you're here. I'm
Mhm.
excited to play with you more.
Pretty good.
Up next, thank you very much for joining us, Zenari, and welcome to Neon Lights.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Sir Heckalot, and this is Snickers. She decided to visit
Oh.
before the end of stream, and she's very mad at
Oh.
me for holding her up. She's like, "Mother, I crave violence."
am
You can
Sir-
find me at Sir Heckalot on Twitter and Instagram, and in our lovely Discord server. You can also find me playing D&D in a lot of games for a TPK roleplay. So if you liked what you saw here, definitely go check it out. It is a good time.
I have
That's
seen-
actually where Foxxii is going next in like 20 minutes. So go check that out.
No,
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
got
your cat
DK, by
once,
the
and
way.
I
Big shout out to
already
them.
love
Thank
her.
you so much for all their love and
Is it a
everything.
her?
And of course, lastly, thank you so very much for joining us. And not welcome to the Neon Lights. You've been here for a while already. Thanks for joining us, Mako Sky.
thanks for noticing. Bye.
And secret
I'm
last, the person who's been hosting the stream.
I have a Twitter where I exist and occasionally post pictures of food and alcohol that I make.
And controversial takes on
That was one time.
Jeopardy.
Let that go, James. The meme is dead.
The
It's
meme
dead.
will never die. And yes, I turned myself on for the stream so people could hear me for the end.
Of course.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a Twitter that you can follow. It's at LanTheDan, LanTheDan, all one word.
If you don't follow him, you're missing out.
So much great content over there. I guess before I do my last plugs, a quick shout out to the person decided to join us for stream for this purpose, our lovely and brand new stream manager, Spree.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing the behind the scenes work for us. We love and appreciate you so much.
I
Let's
do
get some-
things, but only sometimes.
Let's get some love in the chat for
This
Spree, our
is-
lovely stream manager.
No.
Thank you so very
Ollie,
much.
It's not the voice of God. It's the voice of like think the voice of Satan, but like less powerful, and then that's me.
There you go. And lastly, but not leastly, hopefully not at least, I am Young
Ollie's
Foxxii,
playing
god of
Valheim.
indulgence,
Yes.
celebrations, bar fights, one-night stands, and smoke ciphers, also known as your dungeon master for the evening.
I'll take.
You
this
can catch
fight.
me here on Neon Lights Roleplay, officially now every week on Sundays alternating. You catch me playing Neon Lights for Cyberpunk Red. You'll catch me on Saturdays alternating here, doing this thing we just did right here.
Yes.
And then maybe you'll catch me in some other stuff too when that happens. But if you want to see me in some other stuff, you can catch me over at twitch.tv/TPK Roleplay. I'm literally going to be there in 20 minutes playing Lancer for Top Shelf. So if you want to see me get a little bit more spiffy than I already am and be a mech boy, then
Are you gonna put on a tie?
then you know that's the thing.
How spiffy are you gonna get?
Are you gonna have a pocket square?
No, probably not a pocket square.
Are you drinking
But,
more before that
Are
stream?
you gonna drink more of that fortified wine?
Oh, 100%, no
Good.
question.
Because I've had
So-
wine this whole time.
Yeah, and y'all definitely need to make sure y'all follow us. We're on Twitter at Twitch at twitter.com
Hey,
/
hey.
Neon Lights Roleplay. We're here on Twitch at Neon Lights Roleplay. We also have
We have a
to check
YouTube.
out
Hey,
as well.
Foxxii, you were saying
I'm
we were-
busy. I'm doing a thing. Shut up.
No, I know. I'm trying to tell you a thing though.
What's up?
We gotta follow during the stream.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah.
So we're well, look
We're
at that.
at
Okay,
50
so
followers.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I was trying to tell you, like, yeah, we gotta follow during the stream because I asked one of my furry friends to follow you.
Well, thanks,
Oh.
great friend, for following us.
This is like the monkey's paw. We got our 50th follower. But it's a fur.
hey, they actually are into D&D stuff a lot. They really like
Hey,
D&D.
and also, we don't kink shame here. This is not a kink
We
shaming
really
community.
don't.
That's not how we
given
get
that
down.
I'm the resident furry and Tate
Is that a
like,
new
trying to
policy?
usurp my
Yes,
title.
no, we don't kink shame. We just hand out bonks. It's different.
This
It's
is
different.
true. You are allowed to
Different.
bonk me for my kinks, but you are not kink shaming.
We don't shame. We just bonk. Anywho, thanks for coming around for all the bonking. Please hang out on our Discord. Do things with us. We're gonna make affiliate this month, hopefully, and do some really, really cool stuff. More
Yeah, that'd be
campaigns
great.
launching soon. More fun things happening. We got
Oh my-
game streams,
Wait.
recaps, all
I'll-
kinds of cool shit happening. Yes, Spree. I'm trying to outro.
No, I'm
What do
sorry.
you want?
Ollie was saying emote next, and I was gonna say, can we get my face from that one emote on the Discord as the emote?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
It's gonna be
we'll look at
that,
it.
Tate's face, or Joe drinking.
Okay,
No,
we'll
I
talk about it
can't say
later.
that.
Not important right now. We have to go. Anyway,
Right.
I got you. I got the
I don't
raid going.
appreciate
We're gonna
being
raid
called
the
out
Fey
like this.
realm.
What's the raid message
Raid-
gonna be?
We're gonna raid the Fey realm. The Fey realm is
I'm
currently
muting
playing
myself.
D&D. Go over to the Fey realm, and it looks like my homegirl NN9G is over there. And if that's the case, then please go over there and tell them that Foxxii sent you, please. So everyone head on over
Absolutely.
to
What are we
to
gonna
the Fey
say?
realm. I'm starting the raid. Tell them they sent you.
What are we gonna say?
Just tell them Foxxii sent you. That's all. So that's it. Just be like,
We need like a hashtag.
oh, we do? I don't know. What the fuck? I don't know how
I
it works.
hate sand.
Yeah, I hate sand. We'll go with I hate sand.
I hate
That sounds
I was
perfect.
gonna say he seems trustworthy.
All right. Well,
yeah. He seems
either of those
trustworthy.
things. Either he seems trustworthy or I hate sand. Either one. Either way, tell them we sent you and we love you all very much. Thanks for coming. We'll see you right back here next Sunday for Neon Lights, and then the Saturday after that for this again, and then maybe the week after that for some other fun stuff. Who knows?
Nice.
Love you, darlings. Take care of yourselves and be good. That is the one rule. Be good. Okay?